Back here at beautiful Oil City Stadium, just set for baseball between the Oilmen and the Joliet Generals. We are just a few seconds from the first pitch. It's going to come right at 10, and is a pleasant 74 degrees on what has turned into a great day for baseball. There was some threat of rain in the weather forecast, but that has not transpired. It's a good day for a ball game and a good day for Kids Day here at the ballpark. Diego Munoz steps in. The Joliet leadoff man swings at the first pitch and lifts it to deep left field. Going back on it and watching this one hit off the fence in left is the left fielder Hodges, and this is going to be a standing double to get things going here today. So a quick double right off the bat for Munoz, and the Generals right away on the first pitch have a runner in scoring position.
Munoz didn't waste much time in there, saw something he liked on the very first pitch, was able to get under it, send it out to left field, and Jason Hodges had a little bit of trouble playing it off the wall. That's one of the difficulties of playing left field in this ballpark, is you have that big brick monster out there, so you have to get a feel for how the ball is going to redirect off of it, and Hodges was got a taste for that out there on the first pitch of the game.
So right away a runner in scoring position as Munoz jumps on the first pitch from Mike Shalaski. And the Generals have a scoring chance here in the opening inning. Anthony Stellato swings and bounces one slowly to the right side. It's the first baseman going over to field it, and the throw to first is in time as the Oilmen get the out on a 3-1 putout. Horniman moved to his right, picked up the baseball, and then fed it to the covering Shalaski for the first out of the inning.
That was a heads-up play by Shalaski, realizing he had to get in the play and get over first base because Horniman had to move over. And now they switched it. It looked like Shalaski's foot might have been a little off the bag, so they called him safe on the appeal there.
Yeah, interesting. Originally the call was out here, and now they end up saying the runner's safe at first base, and Adam Enright right away is out to argue with home plate umpire Mike Clay.
It did look a little close over there because Shalaski had to go into a little bit of a stretch, and it looked like on that stretch his back foot came off the bag originally. So it was a real bang-bang thing, but I think he just barely lost control there.
This is E1 on the pitcher Shalaski for failure to step on the base. So runners at first and third, and Gould stands in with the Generals possessing an early scoring chance in this opening inning. A very unusual start to the game. 2 pitches in, and here we are. Gould against Shalaski. Here comes a pickoff throw to first, diving headfirst safely back to the bag is Stellato.
And we'll see how the newly named All-Star Shalaski works through this situation with runners on the corners. He has the 1-2 record on the season, but that doesn't tell the whole story with him, as he's very efficient at pitching for contact, throwing strikes, and not walking a lot of batters. So if he can just attack these next few batters to try to get some outs here, he could be in a good spot.
Yeah, he delivers a strike there. You're right. He is a guy who can strike hitters out, and that could come in handy in this situation with a runner at third right away. Oilman middle infield is back looking for something they can turn. Here's a tapper to the left side. Zebig chasing this one in. His only play is going to be at first base, and that's going to be just in time. A 6-3 put out at first base for the first out of the inning. Munoz comes in and scores the game's first run. Give Gould his 16th run batted into the season. Stellato goes to second safely. And now 1 out, 1 in, and a runner at second for Toronis.
The runner on first base, Stellato, was off to a good jump there, so he took away the possibility of a double play as Zebig had to just make a quick choice going over to first, at least getting 1 out. The Oilmen give up a run, but they're going to try to now minimize that threat by getting some quick outs here.
So the Oilmen find themselves trailing early. Here's a ground ball to the left side. This is fielded by Zebig. He'll throw this one to first in time for the second out of the inning. Back-to-back 6-3 ground ball bouncers. I'll tell you what, Leo, the Generals have not hesitated to swing early in counts so far here today.
They have a very quick approach here against Shalaski. That means he's throwing strikes up there. He's going right at the hitters. They're putting contact on him, but they're also saving his pitch count a little bit by making some quick outs or quick base hits in a couple of situations. And so maybe that he's already facing his fifth batter of the inning, but he's probably have a pitch count under 10 right now too.
Runner held at second there. Now 2 down. This pitch is low and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Caraway.
We saw Caraway the first time he played in this ballpark. He has a lot of power in his swing, putting one well over the brick monster in left field. Have to watch out making a mistake against him.
2 outs and a runner at second. 1 ball, no strikes on Caraway. Here comes Shalaski's pitch. This is taken low for a ball, 2-0.
27 strikeouts to just 9 walks on the season for Shalaski. That just talks about how good he is at spotting his inside the zone. So rarely do we see him fall behind in counts like this with a 2-0 count here.
2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs in the inning. The lead at second for Stellato is a 2-0. And the count 2-1. Shalaski 1-2 for the season, a .352 earned run average. This is his 6th game, his 4th start. He's logged 23 innings. He has struck out 27 and issued 9 bases on balls. 2 balls and 1 strike on Caraway. An action-packed first inning. 2 outs, a runner at second, a run in the bank for Joliet. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. A tip into the mid of Zarnacki, and the count evens out at 2-2.
For Shalaski, he's mixed up his locations. Started off the at-bat going low, then went high up there against Caraway. Look for maybe something going outside to keep him guessing.
2-2 with 2 down. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. This is taken low for a ball. We go full at 3-2. A check swing, but able to hold up was Caraway.
Now after a few at-bats where the Generals were really aggressive against Shalaski, now Caraway's being patient at the plate and forcing Shalaski to work up there, maybe change his delivery.
Full count with 2 outs. Runner at second base takes his lead. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. He was out in front. He took something off, and it fooled Caraway for the final out of the first inning. But not before the Generals push across the run. They do it on 1 hit and 1 runner left on base. After a half, Joliet won, and the Oilmen coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success.
I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more, go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost premium meat.
Don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism of Ironworkers Local 395 and the Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program.
Is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back at Oil City Stadium, 1 run for Joliet in the top of the first inning. An unusual top of the first inning that featured a double by Munoz on the first pitch thrown by Shalaski as he jumped on it and hit it off the wall and left. And then on the second pitch of the ball game, it was a ground ball to the right side, and the first baseman Horniman fed a covering Shalaski, but due to a failure to step on the base, safe at first was Stellato. And that allowed Munoz to advance to third safely, and he scored from there on the ground ball to short off the bat of Gould.
Yeah, Joliet was just making some quick contact against Shalaski, not really waiting too long in the counts, just forcing him to go on the defensive, taking some early pitches deep and putting a run on the board. So we'll see now how the Oilmen bounce back. They're getting a much-needed reappearance by Chris Baker in the lineup.
Here's a pitch low and in for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Chris Baker is back after he spent a few days participating in a pro workout and tryout out in Utah for an opportunity to play in the Pioneer League. But he is back with the Oilmen, and the Oilmen will welcome him back to that lineup. This is high for a ball. Simply, Leo, it adds a whole nother dimension when you have Chris Baker at the top of your lineup.
Baker batting .373 on the season through 83 at-bats, so that's not an inflated average. He is very close to .400 here, just really sets the table well at the leadoff spot, has driven in 16 runs, scored 20 of his own, just exactly what they need to start things off.
2-0 here is a strike, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Baker, As you heard Leo talk about, a 373 hitter this year. He has been a force at the top of the order. The 2-1. Taken for a strike on a breaking ball from Sava Duport. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. What do the Oilmen have to do to get their hits today against Sava Duport?
Well, they're going to have to try to be aggressive at the plate here. You can't wait too long in counts. We've seen them rack up the strikeouts by doing that as the 2-2 pitch comes in.
Taken for ball 3. It just missed a breaking ball that was a little late to break. We'll get the rest of Leo's analysis following this payoff pitch. Stayed a little bit high and outside, but it was a close pitch to take with 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff to Baker. Swinging a ground ball up the middle. This is going to be a base hit center field. Baker grounded it softly through the center of the diamond. Poised to get in the right spot for a leadoff single for the Oilmen, the last of the first.
And that's what the Oilmen could use a lot of today, is just well-placed contact, because they've been making a lot of contact at the plate, but they've been putting a lot of flyouts to the corner outfielders, a lot right over to second base. So if they can just, they don't have to exactly crush the ball today, but if they can put it through those holes in the infield, get those base hits, and just pick up one after the other, that could be a good way to get players across the plate.
Radcliffe standing in here with Baker out to a lead at first. First pitch to Radcliffe is high and inside for a ball, and the count 1 ball and no strikes.
Radcliffe, one of the newer additions to the Oilmen here, still getting a feel for the club, but he's displayed he can make some good contact at the plate, so he could be a nice player to have in this 2 spot with Baker on base.
1-0 in favor of Joliet as we play the bottom of inning number 1. Radcliffe, fairly new to the Oilmen, as you mentioned, swing and a miss here. And he's moved around in the batting order since being with the team, but this could potentially fortify a new top of the lineup for the Oilmen.
Really helps anyone batting after Chris Baker. That gives you chances to get those RBIs and to have someone who the pitcher is going to be thinking about on base, take some pressure off the batter.
1-1 lifted foul off to the left and out of play, and the count of ball and 2 strikes on Kyle Radcliffe.
Because we've kind of seen it all season. Whoever bats after Baker in the lineup typically has a pretty good RBI total that he is putting them in a position to drive him in. So that can be a good way to jumpstart whoever you're looking to here, and today it's Radcliffe.
Radcliffe batting with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner at first, Baker. Here's Duport's set and his 1-2 pitch. This is sent foul. He hit it softly off the end of the bat, foul, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Working against a pitcher who has a pretty lopsided earned run average, has been hit pretty hard sometimes this season. The Oilmen want to make sure they get to him early. They don't want to let him settle in, feel confident against him. They want to try to at least put a run on the board in this inning.
That's something the Oilmen have been so good at, is jumping on the board early in games. Runner goes. Here's the 1-2, high and outside. It's an easy stolen base for Baker. The pitch got away from Caraway. Baker was in motion. Credit him with the steal. It was a high and outside slow breaking ball from Duport, and Baker easily trots into second.
That looked like one where Baker might have been going for the stolen base regardless of the pitch, and that was exactly what helped him out a ton there, was that pitch well outside. He was there without a chance for the Generals to catch him.
The 2-2 on Radcliffe with now a runner in scoring position, and Baker representing the tying run. The 2-2 is high for a ball. We go full at 3-2.
Good take there by Radcliffe. That one just missed the outside corner of the zone. That was one that Duport was trying to backdoor in there, but Radcliffe just laid off it and now works it to a full count.
3 balls and 2 strikes. 1-0 in favor of Joliet in front of a packed house of youngsters at Oil City Stadium. Here's the payoff pitch. This is taken off the plate for a ball, and that's ball 4. Radcliffe didn't know it. He stayed in the home plate area, and Mike Clay says, hey, you might want to take your base. And Radcliffe is on base, and now runners at first and second with nobody out.
You could stay for an extra pitch if you want, but that could hurt your chances of getting on. So he just had to be reminded to walk over to first base, and now he's putting Duport in a tougher spot for Jason Hodges, who in his last game with the Oilmen put one over the monster out in left field. So if he could stay hot, this could be a really big spot for the Oilmen to capitalize on the game.
They've changed a lot of rules in baseball with the DH rules and extra inning rules and things like that, but they have not changed 4 balls as a walk. Here's a pitch taken high and outside for ball 1 on Hodges.
That one's pretty standard, but sometimes you get mixed up at the plate. You get so almost like tunnel vision where you're just focusing on the pitch and you don't realize what the count is sometimes, even with the umpire right behind you reminding you after every pitch.
1 ball and no strikes on Hodges. Here's the 1-0. And look out, Hodges gets hit by a pitch, and now the bases are going to be full of Oilmen. So while the opening innings saw Shalaski go right at hitters to the point where they were swinging early in counts because he was attacking the zone, the bottom of the inning has featured deep counts and now a walk and a wild pitch to boot.
Yeah, and that's something the Oilmen maybe will try to capitalize on. It. Sometimes they've been playing their best ball offensively when they're attacking pitchers, but this is a spot where maybe you don't want to help him early in the counts. If he's going to be wild, let him pitch around and just try to keep that merry-go-round going. And you're in a great position here with one of your better hitters up with the bases loaded and nobody out. So there's a lot of different ways this could go.
Jack Zebig will stand in with the bases full. 1-0 Joliet, but nobody out in this inning. It's a golden opportunity for the Oilmen, who have been so prone, Leo, to jump out to big leads early, and they'd love to do it again today.
This is what they've needed. Their past few games, when they've been winning, they score in the first 3 frames. It sets up a good cushion for their starting pitchers, especially in this one where he gave up a solo tally in the top of the inning. You want to answer quick, and what better opportunity than this one?
First pitch here, low and in for a ball, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on Zebik.
Oilmen had a game against these Generals earlier in June where they had 3 opportunities with the bases loaded and did not capitalize on any of them. 2 of those led into double plays with 1 out in the inning to end them, and another ended with a strikeout. So they want to make sure they have better luck with the bases juiced this time.
And this is low and away for a ball, and run is going to score on a wild pitch. Wild pitch coming in to score Baker. Radcliffe and Hodges advance to 3rd and 2nd respectively, and the Oilmen have tied this game. It's the Oilmen 1 and Joliet 1.
We've seen the Oilmen have been able to capitalize on the wildness from Dupour. That one just squeaked past the catcher Caraway on the ground. He wasn't able to get any of the leather on it. And Baker, you can't make that mistake with him on third base because he will make you pay. And there he is, back in the lineup and already crossing home plate.
Dupour has been a little wild in this opening inning. Now runners at 2nd and 3rd. Here's a swing and a ball lifted foul off to the left and out of play, and the count 2-1.
What the Oilmen just have to realize is he's a little wild here, so work with what he's giving you. If he's giving you walks, take those and put pressure on him. It's a lot harder to pitch with multiple runners on. It gives you a lot to think about, so up the pressure on him.
Here's a 2-1 to Zebig. This is swung on and lined softly to 3rd. This is caught by Dupuis, and that's the first out of the inning. Soft line drive off the bat of Zebig. Good job by the runners, Hodges and Radcliffe, to get back to their respective bases.
Looked like Zebig only caught that one off the top of the bat. Wasn't much he could do with it. Kind of just sent it on a soft liner over to 3rd base. So that gives Joliet what they needed there was an out. And we'll see if that helps Dupour, helps him settle down and work a little bit more confident on the mound here.
You have the 1 run, but you're thinking about a big inning. You had runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out and the run already in the bank. Now there's 1 away. Here's the first pitch to Zarnacki. He looks at a strike, and the count 0-1.
Zarnacki drove in 2 runs the last time these 2 teams played on the 29th of June. He's looking to try to continue his hot streak against the Joliet Generals as he's been swinging a pretty good bat as of late.
No balls and a strike as Dupour does get ahead. Here's the 0-1. This is swung on and popped up to left. Will it be deep enough? It's shallow, and it's going to be caught by the shortstop Munoz. The runner's going to tag and score, and this will go as a sacrifice fly. Coming in to score on the play is Radcliffe on a sac fly caught by the shortstop Munoz, as that is the 2nd out of the inning. Gives Zarnacki an RBI, and that's his 17th run driven into the year as the Oilmen take a 2-1 lead.
So even with the out there, the Oilmen were still able to manufacture a run, get the lead here, and potential for more with David Marshall, one of their better hitters, playing deeper in the lineup today. This could be a good spot for him as you think you're out of the woods for Dupour on the mound, but then you have to face Marshall here, who can really get it going against Joliet. Had a 3-hit game out in Carroll Stream a couple weeks back. Can really swing the bat well against this team.
Now it's Marshall standing in. As you mentioned, pitch here high and in for a ball. We had the very rare play, and we'll maybe talk more on this play later, on Friday night against Lake County, where a sacrifice fly was caught by the pitcher. And, well, it appeared to be a sacrifice fly. The technical ruling was no sac fly on that one because the ball did not leave the infield. This one, even though it's caught by the shortstop, does count as a sac fly because it was on the outfield grass. This is low and in for a ball. And it was it was shallow in terms of outfield, but it was not at the shortstop position, a pop-up. It was a play that could have been made by the left fielder.
That was one where Munoz had to cover a lot of ground out there at short.
2 balls and no strikes to Marshall. Here's the 2-0. This is taken for a strike, and the count 2-1.
Dupour's got some good movement on his pitches. If he can locate them for strikes, those are pitches, especially that curveball we saw there. That's one that if you get contact with it, you're probably just going to chop it to the middle infield. So that could be tough for the Oilmen to play with there.
2-1 on Marshall with 2 outs, and they lead at 2nd for Hodges. He runs the 2-1. is taken for strike 2 called. Stealing third base is Hodges. The Oilmen have stole 2 bases against the battery of Dupour and Caraway in this inning.
And in that one, Hodges was running while he was still in his delivery. A little bit of a slower motion from Dupour, and Hodges was able to take advantage of that as he was basically halfway to third base by the time the ball left the hand of Dupour.
Yeah, I think they've both been stolen more on the pitcher than the catcher. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a little nubber out in front of home plate, picked up by Dupour. His throw to first is going to be in time, and the inning ends. The Oilmen settle for the 2 runs. They do it on 1 hit and leave 1. We've played 1. Oilmen 2, Generals 1 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success.
I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in the land of frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Back at Oil City Stadium as we go to inning number 2. It was an eventful first inning, each team with just 1 hit, but hitting on the board. And the Oilmen a 2-1 lead after 1.
And respond to that early run because Shlasky was pitching well on the mound, but the Generals were just playing aggressive, capitalized on an error, and were able to manufacture the 1 run. And so for the Oilmen to quickly get back, get him not just tied, but then the lead, that could help him now settle in and try to attack these hitters, hopefully putting some zeros on the board afterwards.
It is an earned run against Shlasky's ledger because Munoz would have gone to third on that play at first regardless, and then would have scored regardless on the 6-3 putout, which would have been the second out of the inning. Instead, it was the first, as the failure to step on the base extended that inning, but it ended up providing no further damage. Here's a pitch down low for a ball, and it's 1 ball and no strikes on Dupuis, leading off the second inning for Joliet. Shlasky faced these Generals once this season. It was back on June the 13th. The 1-0 is outside for a ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. He went 6 2/3 innings, yielding 2 runs on 5 hits. He walked 2 and struck out 7 in what was a solid outing for Shlasky. The 2-0 is low and in. He has missed with 3 straight here, Leo. It's 3 balls and no strikes.
And on that June 13th outing, those walks and the runs came near the back end of his outing where he was showing maybe some fatigue, but he was very effective early, just striking out, getting into a good rhythm. But now we're seeing him missing with a few spots here with a 3-0 count.
Here's the 3-0, taking ball 4 high is Dupuis. 4 straight missed the zone. Kind of a rarity from Shlasky. He has walked 9 in 23 innings this season, but for the most part, he's been a guy who consistently will be around the strike zone.
It's not something we see too much. I'm intrigued to see maybe if on his first pitches he's purposely putting them outside the zone, given how aggressive Joliet was early in those counts, if he's trying to get them to chase on something, because we saw 2 straight hits on the first swing in those at-bats in the first inning, so maybe he's changing something here.
This is low in for a ball to Vertuno in the count 1-0, Leo.
Because you get hit on a couple early pitches, maybe now in the second inning you have some time to think about it, and you don't want to have that happen again this inning. But that resulted in a walk there, as it looked like he was near the zone on those, but just missing on a few pitches.
Runner goes, pitch low and in, throw to second base, not in time. Both teams have run at will here in the early going as the Generals notched their first stolen base of the day after the Oilmen had 2 in the bottom of inning number 1. Now it's 2 balls and no strikes on Vertuno, and a base hit could tie this game at 2.
It's the importance of getting that stolen base. Now you put him in scoring position, a well-hit ball can result in a tie game. It could be a back-and-forth affair, so we might see the teams get aggressive on the base paths.
Here's a strike call on the 2-0. It just caught the lower inner portion of the zone. The count 2-1 on Aaron Vertuno, the first baseman today for head coach and manager Joe Silva. Here's the 2-1. Low for a ball. The count 3 balls and a strike. Joe Silva's going to be, Leo, managing the West team for the All-Star game here in a week and a half.
We've seen it a few times where when Shalaski's missing, he's missing on those pitches low in the zone, or maybe he's just putting too much break on these pitches, just missing that bottom portion, and that's what Joliet's taking advantage of.
3-1 is strike 2 call. Now we go full at 3-2 and a big payoff upcoming.
You see Shalaski has a really good array of pitches, can do a lot of different stuff, so with the payoff pitch, he's really going to try to keep Vertuno guessing at the plate.
Full count on Vertuno. Here's the payoff pitch. This is swung on and looped to shallow center. This is going to get down for a base hit. Advancing to third base safely is Dupuis. A little flare off the bat of Vertuno. He did not hit this well at all. That's baseball for you as it falls in there for a single. And now Joliet has runners at first and third.
You said it well there, that's just baseball sometimes where you put all your muscle onto it, and that's all you can do with a really good pitch and put it barely leaving the infield there, but in a spot where the Oilmen had nobody stationed, and I was able to score a run.
Now the runners are at first and third. Advancing to third base on the play is Dupuis with the Oilmen leading 2-1. Dino Bigger stands in, and now a golden scoring chance for the Joliet Generals. The middle infield is back. They'd love to turn a double play, but they would concede a run on such a play. This is low for a ball, 1-0.
And we saw it in both halves of the first inning where the offenses were able to get runners on early, and that just makes it so much harder for the pitchers where you're trying to get an out with ground balls or fly balls, but you have runners in scoring position, so that can result in some sacrifice-type plays and get runs on the board.
Here's the 1-0. This is swung on and fisted in the air, foul off to the left and out of play, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike.
If anything, it puts more pressure on the pitchers to try to get the strikeout, where you have to almost be perfect on the mound there because you don't want to risk putting a ball in play because you have runners in scoring position. They are threats to move, and something hit in the field can put a run on the board even if you do make an out.
Runners take their leads from first and third, the 1-1. Taken for a strike call in the count 1-2. You'd love a strikeout right here. Shalaski has struck out 27 in 23 innings this year.
He had one in the first inning. That came in a good spot against Caraway to stop the offense from the Generals, and he's hoping to get a few here, still looking for some outs in this second inning.
Here's his set and his 1-2 pitch. Low and outside for a ball. Shalaski, the product of the University of Indianapolis, one of the older players in the league, one of the players who has finished his college tenure that is here. Chris Baker and Shalaski are the two oldest Oilmen, with Baker being a bit older. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the break even. This is low for a ball. And the count goes full at 3-2.
And it shouldn't be a surprise that both Baker and Shalaski were named to the Northern League All-Star team. They both have just brought a very good presence, seemingly on and off the diamond, where they can produce for the team, but then provide a good veteran presence for the younger players to feed off of.
Yeah, let's touch more on the All-Stars in a moment. The payoff pitch here, ground ball to second, could be 2. Marshall flips to Zebig 1. His relay throw to first is in time. That's a double play. 4-6-3 it goes. And there are 2 down. A run scores on the play. No RBI for Biggers, but that play does plate a run. Now there will be 2 outs in the inning, and that'll bring up Stute.
And even though the Generals turned 2, at least now they were able to tie it up there. That was a good play by the Oilmen here. Sometimes when you have to make that backhand flip like we saw Marshall do at second base, that can't be as accurate, where you maybe throw it wide or over the shortstop, but Zebig was able to get a glove on it and throw over first in time and turn 2.
Here's the first pitch to Stute. It's taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. Stute batting with 2 outs, and the base is clear. Ball game tied at 2. Dupuis, a leadoff walk, came back to bite the Oilman. He stole second. Vertuno had the soft single that allowed Dupuis to move from second to third. Then he came in and scored on a double play. 2-2 the score. We're in inning number 2, 2 down, and the 0-1 is swung on and popped up foul territory. Zernacki will run out of room as this one reaches the seats, and luckily all the youngsters are okay, and one of them is going to grab a souvenir.
And you touched on it a little bit, the walk that resulted in the run coming around. Both of these Joliet runs were runners attributed to runners that reached on either errors or walks. I know that was Munoz with a double, but that error helped him advance to third base. So some of those forced mistakes by the Oilmen have resulted in both runs.
0-2, 2 outs. Here's a 2-2. And look out, this is inside, and it just avoids hitting the batter Stute. The count goes to 1-2.
And we even saw it for the Oilmen on their offensive half of the inning. They were able to play 2 runs on just 1 hit. So walks can really come back to hurt you. The team that can have more control pitching-wise today will likely be the team that wins.
Here's the 1-2. Taken inside for a ball, and the count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Oilmen trying to limit the damage in this inning to the 1 run. Deuce is wild here. 2-2 the score, 2-2 the count, 2 outs in the second inning. Ground ball towards short, weakly hit. Zebig fields it. He throws to first. It's going to be in time on a close play, as ruled by Kevin Dato, the base umpire. 6-3 the putout goes. The Generals get 1 run on 1 hit and leave none. We've played an inning and a half. It remains Oilmen 2 and the Generals 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
We take it to the bottom of inning number 2, 2-2 the score. As each team with some early offense, the Generals have scored in each inning. The Oilmen with 2 in the bottom of inning number 1. As we look around here, it is a great audience here. A lot of youngsters in the ballpark for Kids Day, and it's all brought to you by our partners at Midwest Orthopedics. So we appreciate Midwest Orthopedics at Rush for their partnership for this game, and they are bringing you Kids Day here today. And again, a great audience with the kids groups all over the place here at Oil City Stadium.
One of those fun days, being at summer camp, getting to go to a ball game with all your friends. That's just a fun way to spend a summer day, and what better weather for it, too. It's not too hot. It's not too sunny. It's a great day to be out here at the ballpark, and we rarely get to play daytime baseball here at the OC, and so it's always a treat when we do get the opportunity.
It'll be Joe Cosenza to lead it off. Swinging the first pitch, low roller to third. Tough play. Dupuis comes in, fields it. He makes the play to first in time to retire Cosenza. This was a slow roller along third. Dupuis had to do everything perfectly to get Cosenza at first base. He did that, and that's the first out of the second inning.
Yeah, for Dupuis, there wasn't much time to spare there. He had to move in on it quick, pick it up on the bare hand, and throw it over as fast as he could, and just barely beat Cosenza to the bag.
Now it's Chaz Clark batting with 1 out and the base is clear. Wanted to congratulate the players named to the Northern League All-Star Game coming up next week. Here's the first pitch to Clark. It's high for a ball. It'll be on Tuesday night, a 7:10 game. We'll have it for you right here on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network from Oil City Stadium, and we hope you'll come on out. Tickets are available on NWIOilmen.com. 1 ball, no strikes, the count on Clark. Here comes the 1-0. Swinging a bouncing ball to the right side. Biggers collects this one. He throws to first in time. And quickly 2 ground ball outs induced by Shalaski to begin this, induced by Dupour to begin this second inning. And there's 2 outs and the base is clear. The Oilmen sending Shalaski, Zarnacki, Baker, Lolito, Zebig, Burdak, and Marshall to the All-Star Game next week.
And all of those players have impacted the team in different ways. For most of them, you could say they were the guys when maybe the offense was struggling, they were the ones picking up. In Baker's case or Zarnacki's case, or pitchers, somebody like Burdak who just came in and has worked some really gutsy performances up there. And Matt Lolito's had some dominating stuff. Just all those players you know when you saw them play and could pick out that they were clearly worthy of being all-stars.
And then for the Joliet Generals, C.J. Toronis, Michael Gould, Logan Schwarting, Diego Munoz, Bryce Vincent, Cooper Avery, Jack Bell, and Brendan Fisher named to the Northern League West All-Stars. So quite the representation of both of these teams competing here today. 2 outs and the bases clear. Horniman awaiting the 1-0 pitch. It is swung on and tapped foul, and the count evens.
Players like Vincent and Fisher making back-to-back All-Star appearances from last season. A lot of familiar faces on this Joliet team, and they're still picking up where they left off last season for most of them.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and the base is clear. Here comes the 1-1 to Horniman. Swinging a ground ball to the left side, fielded by Munoz. The shortstop collects it. He throws to first, and the inning ends. 3 straight ground ball outs comprise the Oilmen's second inning. We've played 2. It's the Oilmen 2 and the Generals 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
On to the third inning. It's 2-2 in favor of, in favor of neither team. It's 2-2 as we take it to inning number 3. Ball game tied. The Oilmen had the lead after 1 inning of play. Joliet actually scored first in the top of the first inning. The Oilmen responded with 2 in the bottom of the first, but then Joliet tied the game at 2 with a second inning run. And how about Duport attacking the zone and inducing 3 ground ball outs in that second inning?
Much better command for Duport in the second inning. He was throwing strikes and throwing pitches that the Oilmen weren't able to drive, just some weak contact that his defense was able to take care of.
First pitch strike here to Munoz in the count 0-1.
And that was big for Duport to get put a good second inning, put a 0 on the board. Now he can settle in, get some confidence when he faces the order the second time around and try to go deeper into this game.
This is inside for a ball, and the count is 1-1. Well, we have to talk about yesterday's game for the Joliet Generals. We touched on it in the open. About 7 runs in the top of the ninth to win a bizarre game by a 13-11 score. Here's a strike called, the count 1-2. It was a tough turnaround, by the way, for Joliet. They were in Crown Point last night to take on the Corn Dogs. They had to go all the way back to where they're located, further west. Here's the 1-2 and north. Here's a ground ball left side foul on the count 1-2. But it makes that turnaround a little bit easier when you have a miraculous victory and beat the first-place team in bizarre fashion.
Through the first 7-8 innings, the Generals were striking out a lot, but then in the 9th inning, we were able to put 7 up, worked the reliever Bevel, got him out of the game without recording out, and then left it up to a position player to try to close things out, and they were really able to put up some runs there, and Kai Formella was able to close things out, working a 3-inning save. I believe it would also be the winning pitcher there. Well, so he was winning pitcher, not a save there.
Right, check swing here and a foul, the count 1-2. And then the 8th inning, there were several runs. What was they scored 3 in the 8th and 7 in the 9th. So they were down 11-3 going into the 8th inning, and they win the game. Here's the 1-2. This is taken for a ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Victories like that, Leo, will get a team fired up, and that has a carryover effect to future games.
This could really get the Generals going on a roll here if they get a big win against the Corn Dogs last night, now facing the Oilmen today. You don't always notice the quick turnaround when you're playing a morning game after a night game. When you have a game like that the night before, you're almost itching to get back on the field and start playing.
2-2 low and in, 3-2. Afternoon baseball at Oil City Stadium. Here's the payoff pitch. It bounces in there for ball 4. It's a walk on a payoff, and Munoz is aboard here to lead off the third.
Long at bat there, an uncharacteristic walk from Shalaski. Munoz was able to work it for 6 pitches there and draw the free pass. So that puts him on. Now Shalaski facing this top of the lineup for the second time. We'll see if he does something different against some of these hitters that were able to put hits on the board against him.
2-2, runner at first. Shalaski issuing a leadoff walk in the third. First pitch, ball one here to Anthony Stellato. That's the second walk he's issued today, but he's maybe been behind more frequently than he would like in counts. He's behind 1-0 to Stellato here. Shulaski, a Northern League All-Star, has 1-0 pitch. And Mike Clay says he went too far, and the count is 1-1. Two-two ball game, inning number 3. 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's a pickoff throw to first, and able to get back to the bag safely is Munoz.
We're seeing it with Shulaski here where the first pitches now are coming in for balls. That's where Joliet's may be able to get the advantages here, is starting these counts off well, where they're getting off to these advantages with 1-0, 2-0 counts and forcing him to work from behind.
The 1-0 swung on and lifted in the air, foul off to the left and out of play. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Generals at 12 and 13 on the season. They're trying to get up to the 500 line today. They are seeking a 3rd straight win. The Oilmen sit at 16 and 13 on the year, 3 above 500. Here's the 1-2. This is outside for a ball, 2-2.
And if last night's game was any evidence, this Joliet team is one you can't take lightly. They can play against the top teams very well here and have a lot of power in that lineup. So they're one that you can never really count out. So watching them in the 4 spot, they have the potential to make up some ground.
Here's a 2-2. This is swung on and fouled left side, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Stellato reached on that play where Horniman fielded it, fed Shulaski, who didn't step on the base properly at first. From what we understand, we were kind of confused by the play a little bit. Lead at first for Munoz. Here's Shulaski's 2-2 pitch. Low and outside for a ball. We go full at 3-2.
Joliet just doing a good job of forcing the starter to throw a lot of pitches here. That was something on the 13th maybe they weren't doing so much, where they were swinging a lot of stuff, getting a lot of swings and miss. The 7 strikeouts as a team now, facing a pitcher for the 2nd time this season in Shulaski. You're forcing him to work harder.
The payoff is swung on and ripped. Oh, no, it's not caught by the shortstop Zebig, but now they flip to second and get the out. This is a rip toward short off the bat of Stellato. Zebig leaped up and knocked it down. It looked like he would catch the line drive initially, so Munoz, the runner, was trying to get back to first base, but then he was forced to second as the ball fell, and it goes as a fielder's choice, 6-4. And either way, there's 1 out in the inning, but it's Stellato safe at first, and Munoz out on the fielder's choice.
At least the Oilmen were able to get 1 out there. That was one where maybe you would have liked 2, but still, for Zebig, that was a tough play when you drop the ball like that, but at least he was able to follow through and get one of the outs as Munoz was caught off guard, really wasn't able to get a good sprint down to second base, so they got the lead runner out there.
Gould checks his swing. He went too far, says Mike Clay, the home plate umpire. The count 0-1 on Michael Gould, who drove in his 16th run of the year, his first time on a ground ball to short.
Gould's just been a force in the top of the order for Joliet this season, one of their most consistent hitters all season, batting around .371 for stats.
Here's the 0-1, taken for a strike, and the count 0-2.
Gould's one you have to watch for if he can put a ball in a gap. He has 9 doubles on the season, has some extra slugging power this season as well.
Here's a pickoff throw to first, and back to the bag safely is Stellato. 2-2 the score here in inning number 3. Shulaski ahead, no balls and 2 strikes on Gould. He wastes one high for a ball, tried to get Gould to chase, and the count 1-2.
And that's the advantage of when you're ahead of an account as a pitcher rather than behind, where you can waste a pitch. We've seen it happen a lot today where he falls behind early, so you don't have that luxury of being able to spot one high and kind of waste the pitch there.
Low and outside here, Leo 2-2.
But now when he was able to get ahead like that, 2 straight strikes, the back-to-back balls don't hurt as much. But now with the even count, you want to make sure you put this one in for a strike.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Gould. 1 out, and Stellato, the runner at first. Shulaski toes the rubber again. He comes set and delivers 2-2. Breaking ball taken high for a ball. We go full at 3-2.
Just missed on that one. Looked like he was trying to drop it in at the top of the zone. And get Gould looking on that one, but Gould wisely laid off there, and he just missed at the top of the strike zone.
Here's the payoff pitch. Runner goes, pitch inside for ball 4. The throw to second is irrelevant as that forces Stellato to second base. It's a base on balls for Gould. 2 walks now in the inning. Runners at first and second with only 1 away, and here comes Adam Enright to the mound.
And that walk came in a good spot for Joliet there. You just give up an out. You maybe think Shlasky's able to get off to a good rhythm, and then you put more pressure on him, work the walk and a long at bat, and now you have 2 runners on and could possibly be threatening here.
Adam Enright's going to call the whole infield in here. Shlasky 3 walks in the first 3 innings, and he has walked 2 in this 3rd frame. Runners at first and second, 1 out here in the 3rd as Mike Clay goes out to move things along. Oilmen coming off a 6-5 victory over the Chicago American Giants. Colin Horniman, a huge home run in that one, Leo.
That was in a point where the Oilmen were down 2-0. They weren't making a whole lot of great contact. Then Horniman belts his first home run in an Oilmen uniform. That really seemed to energize everybody after that. When you see somebody step up like that on a day where they didn't have a lot of their regulars, that really energized them. They put up a big 4 spot in the 7th inning and didn't look back after that. But it all started with Horniman, who really stepped up when his team needed him there.
Yeah, Adam Enright telling you after the game, Leo, that the Oilmen didn't hit the ball hard for a few innings, but then that home run kind of took the pressure off everyone. Sometimes a home run can do that.
Especially when the Chicago pitcher was really dealing up there. That maybe threw him off his streak there. As
first pitch here, swing and a miss by Toronis, Leo.
You give up the long ball, that maybe gets inside your head a little bit as a pitcher, especially when you were dealing up there, and then the Oilmen just were able to work him out of the game after that, and then really made the bullpen of the American Giants pay with some walks.
No balls and 1 strike on Toronis. Here's the 0-1. Taken for strike 2 call, and the count 0-2.
Now, on the opposite side of that game, we saw the Oilman pitcher, Frank Quinn, give up a home run early in the game, and he seemed to get better after that, where he just was able to change what he was doing up there and give the Oilmen a chance, keeping it a 2-run game, and then Horniman was able to tie things up with his long ball.
Here's a 2-strike pitch, swinging a grounder foul, and it remains 0-2. The Oilmen winning another 1-run game. There have been no shortage of close contests this season.
Especially against the American Giants. You think about that, the team in last place in the league, but they've played a lot of close games against the Oilmen this year. A pair of walk-off wins at home, 1-run game on the road. They've been a tough team to beat for this Oilmen club.
0-2 on Toronis. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Here's the, I'm sorry, 2-2 the score, 0-2 the count. The pitch high here for a ball, 1-2. A great, great crowd on hand. A near sellout of youngsters at Oil City Stadium. Here's the 1-2. This is swung on and lifted in the air. Shallow right. Out is Horniman. Out is the second baseman, Marshall. Marshall gloves it, going away, and makes the catch. Angling toward the right field line. Marshall hauls this in for the second out of the inning, and the runners get back to first and second.
That was a much-needed out for the Oilmen there. That was one where maybe if it carried, it could have dropped in a weird spot, allowed the base runners to keep moving, but we saw Marshall was able to locate it, get under it, and make this second out. And now Caraway's in the box here, who was a strikeout victim his last time up.
Caraway with 2 outs and 2 on. Hitting .273 entering play here today. Here's the first pitch to him. Taken low for a ball, 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs, runners at first and second. 2-2 game in the 3rd. Here's the 1-0. This is taken high for a ball, 2-0. Shlasky falls behind Caraway, 2 balls and no strikes. Shlasky just not quite as sharp and not quite as good of control as we're used to seeing from him, as Zarnacki gets something in his eye and backs away, the Oilman catcher. But sometimes you have to battle through days where you don't have your best command or your best stuff.
And that's where you can tell a lot about a pitcher is how do they respond when they don't have their best work on the mound. They can still try to throw some different pitches, maybe pitch for contact more, just have to be a different approach than you normally have. But that's where you can tell what a pitcher's really made up of, is how they throw on those days.
The 1-0 is taken for a strike, and the 2-0, now 2-1.
For Shlasky are just hoping he can get up there and eat some innings, that you don't have to go to your bullpen too early, that he can just, even though he might not have his best stuff, still work through this game.
The 2-1 low and in for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike. Vast majority of the crowd today, young kids and their chaperones with their groups, and a few senior citizens mixed in. 3 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the 3-1. This is taken low for ball 4. Shlasky walks. Caraway here. That's the 3rd walk of this inning. He has walked, the bases loaded. Stellato reached on a fielder's choice, but that was by virtue of the Munoz walk. And now Gould and Caraway bases on balls. And now it's Jack Dupuis with the bags full.
And even with the bags full, there's 2 outs in the inning, so there's a force out active anywhere. A fly ball can end the inning. Rarely do we see 3 walks from Mike Shlasky in 1 start. We've seen him in 1 inning here, so this Joliet team has really been able to take advantage of him maybe not having his best command today.
Dupuis walked and scored in the 2nd. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss. He looked off balance there. The count 0-1.
That was one where maybe he realized as it was coming in that wasn't a pitch he should swing on, but was already too far committed, so just kind of had to go through the motions a little bit up there for strike 1.
The Generals take their leads from all 3 bases. It's a 2-2 game here in the 3rd. The 0-1 is outside for a ball, and the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Caraway, the runner at first, Gould at 2nd, and Stellato get out to his lead at 3rd base. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shlasky just trying to find his control. Here's the 1-1. Low for ball. He's behind in this count. It's 2 balls and a strike.
What Joliet's been doing a lot here, getting ahead in these counts, forcing Shlasky to really work up there. But there's nowhere to put this batter, so you have to try to get him out.
Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss, and the count 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Ball game tied at 2. Here's the break even. This is swung on and lifted foul out of play, and the count remains 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 down, and we'll do it again. Big pitch in this ball game. Here's the break even. And look out, he gets hit by a pitch, and this forces in the go-ahead run. The Oilmen are going to have to get the bullpen ready as Shlasky is struggling to throw strikes here today, and he hits Dupuis with the 2-2 pitch to force in Stellato, and the Generals have taken a 3-2 lead.
That was a fastball. It looked like he just completely missed his spot on, catching Dupuis in the back of the leg. That's one where he was working his way back in the count, even it up at 2-2, but then wasn't able to finish it off there. And the damage just keeps on coming.
We didn't see this coming here today with Shlasky, particularly in this 3rd inning. 3 walks and a hit batter. And now it's Vertuno. Pitch to him, taken high and outside for ball 1. And again, even the best pitchers, sometimes you just have off days.
And then that's where you see what makes them the best pitchers is how do they respond after that off day. Not every day is going to be perfect for a pitcher, and you just sometimes have to shake off one of these performances and come back better the next time.
And now can you recover and limit the damage? Here's the 1-0. This is high and in for a ball, 2-0.
That's the thing, too. The day's not done yet. You still have to try to get through this 3rd inning, keep the damage at a minimum, and try to put your team in a spot where they can come back from not down too many.
The Oilmen pitching staff was not prepared to shoulder the burden of a brief start today. But right now, it's a matter of how fast can you get somebody warmed up, because Shlasky, who has fallen behind again, 2 balls and no strikes, is struggling as much as we've seen him this summer. He has been very good, in fact, earning a Northern League All-Star berth. Good job by Zarnacki here to slow things down and to make his way out to the mound. And he's going to, and now Zarnacki is going to call Adam Enright out to see about Shlasky here. He might be shaken up.
At this point, yeah, it could be an injury, something wrong with the right-hander. So we see the management, Adam Enright, coming out there.
This is the 2nd mound visit of the inning, which is normally an automatic pitching change, but because he's out to check about an injury, this would not count. So we'll see if Shlasky is able to remain in the game or if, nope, it's going to be a pitching change coming up. The Oilmen are going to have to go to the bullpen. The 2nd straight home game where the Oilmen starting pitcher exits with an injury. Lolito leaves with an injury, and now the Oilmen are going to turn to the pen. The new pitcher is going to get as long as he needs to warm up, so we're going to have a bit of a delay before we get the game resumed here. We will take a timeout. We'll come back with more in this third inning. The Generals have taken a 3-2 lead. Shulaski banged up today. He was just not right, and he exits with an injury. And we'll be back to tell you about the new Oilmen pitcher after this on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
As we resume action here, first pitch from Cam No Host is downstairs for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes here on Vertuno. Remember, 2 balls were delivered by Shulaski, so No Host takes over mid-plate appearance and has nowhere to put Vertuno. Here's No Host 3-0. It's a strike as Vertuno takes and makes it 3 balls and 1 strike. Joliet 3, Oilmen 2 as we play top of inning number 3. Joliet has scored once in each inning, including once here in the third. 3-1 is taken for strike 2 call. We go full at 3-2. And now it'll be a merry-go-round of Generals in motion with this payoff pitch.
Tough spot for any pitcher to come into mid-count, but No Host doing what he can and just throwing strikes, which is important.
And the payoff. Taken for strike 3 called. Caught looking is Vertuno. Nice job by No Host to come back and get that strikeout after inheriting the 2-ball, no-strike count. Good job by him. The Generals get settled for 1 run. They do it on no hits and leave the maximum. We've played 2.5. It's now Joliet 3 and the Oilmen 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Coming up on Friday, July the 22nd, it is Police and Fire Appreciation Night right here at Oil City Stadium. and it's sponsored by our good friends at BP, the oil refinery, BP Whiting, just beyond the outfield fence here at Oil City Stadium. They are a longtime proud sponsor of Oilmen Baseball, and BP presents Police and Fire Night. It is a 7:10 first pitch on Friday, July the 22nd, as we recognize our local heroes and first responders and those who work so hard as part of police departments and fire departments here in Northwest Indiana and beyond. It's Police and Fire Appreciation Night coming up on Friday, July the 22nd, sponsored by BP right here at Oil City Stadium. Chris Baker leads off the bottom of the third. The Oilmen find themselves trailing by a 3-2 score. Here's the first pitch from Dupour. It's taken for a strike. The last thing you ever want, Leo, is your starting pitcher leaving early due to an injury, and it's happened 2 straight home games for the Oilmen.
And that's what's really going to test the depth of this Oilman pitching staff. We've seen that's been a strength for them at times this year. So you just have to try to make sure it's that next man up mentality. You have to maybe change the bullpen plan today. Some guys might have longer outings than they were originally scheduled for. But this really is where we're going to see what the Oilman pitching staff is made of. As they saw Lolito exit on Friday with an injury, and now Shalaski, 2 of their best arms nonetheless as well.
Here's the 1-1 to Baker. This is swung on and cracked to right. Over is the right fielder Stellato to make a snow cone catch on the run near the foul line and right. 1 away here in the third.
That was one where Baker made good contact with it, drove it out to right field, but Stellato was able to get over there and make a good grab there. That was one where if it dropped and rolled into the corner, that could have been 2, maybe 3 bases for Baker.
Lolito's injury on Friday night, getting back to the pitching injuries, occurred on kind of a freak play. It was a pop-up in foul territory between the first base bag and the catcher near the Oilman first base dugout as Radcliffe stands in. 3-2 Generals here in the third. First pitch is a strike, and it's 0-1. And the first baseman was Marshall, the catcher Horniman, and the pitcher Lolito all went full sprint toward the ball near the first base dugout. The bases were loaded with corn dogs. Here's a swing and a miss. The count is 0-2. And Lolito makes a sensational catch sliding near the first base dugout for the first out. 2 strikes here. 1 out. And the pitch on the way to Radcliffe. Swinging a ground ball toward first. This is going to be fielded by Vertuno. He'll kick the cushion. 3 unassisted goes the second out of the third inning, and that'll bring up Hodges. But the pitcher, catcher, and first baseman all had a chance at it. Adam Enright agreed after that was probably the right play for all 3 of those to go after the ball. Problem was that left home plate vacant, and the bases were loaded at the start of this play. So the runners all tagged, and Lolito sprinted toward the plate, and that's where he hurt himself as he was injured trying to apply the tag at the plate as he lunged toward the plate. Then he threw to third late as the runners advanced to second and third. Here's a ball lifted foul off to the right and out of play, with the runners tagging on a pop-up in foul territory to the pitcher. Adam Enright said ideally the third baseman Zarnacki, who was very inexperienced at third base. He's here in the summer to try to learn the third base position, but ideally he would have rotated in and covered home on that play. Baker's batting with, or I should say Hodges batting with a count of 0-1. Here's a strike and the count 0-2. But it turned into an unusual play, and it led to the unfortunate injury to Lolito.
That's one of those plays in baseball where now, 3 days after the fact, we can talk about what should have happened, how it should have happened. But in reality, it was just so quick and a lot of things to think about. The players just doing what they thought was right with a split second of judgment, and it just maybe didn't work for them, but it was a quick play, and we all saw Lolito gave his best effort on the play, just unfortunately came down with an injury.
Yeah, Adam pointing out that if the third baseman covers home, there's no play at third. There's nowhere for anybody to advance to third unless the runner from third goes home on the play. So I was saying on the broadcast that maybe the shortstop should have rotated over and covered third. The second baseman should have covered second. Those things could have happened, but the most essential thing was to cover the plate, and if you do that, none of the runners are going to go anywhere on that play. Here comes the 1-2. This is outside for a ball. 2-2.
In this battle at the plate, Hodges was quickly down 0-2. Now he's been able to work 2 quick balls. The Oilmen trying to avoid a back-to-back 1-2-3 inning against Dupour, who really has settled in nicely after that first inning where he was a little wild.
Yeah, settled in is the right word. This is really flipped. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled. Even though both teams were on the board in the first inning, the Oilmen led 2-1 after one. You felt like Shalaski was pretty solid and just yielded 1 run. He had a double right off the bat. He was attacking the zone and throwing strikes. You felt like Dupour was very shaky in that first inning, but it flipped completely in the inning since. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here comes the break-even pitch, and he fooled him badly. Out on strikes is Hodges. He tried to hold up, but he went too far, and it's another 1-2-3 inning worked by Dupour as the Oilmen do not score in the third. We've played 3. It remains Joliet 3 and the Oilmen 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink that.
I am a success.
I am the future.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
Back at Oil City Stadium, 3-2 Joliet. Generals have scored in each inning, but we need to talk about something that was kind of lost in that third inning with a lot going on, and it was No Host coming in with a 2-ball and no strike count, and he comes back in the count, Leo, to get the strikeout, and that was huge to leave the bags full of Generals in that third.
And that's really a difficult, one of the toughest spots, probably the toughest spot for a pitcher to come in, not only with the bases loaded, but already behind in the count. There was no room for error for him, and he was able to work a strikeout, get Vertuno down looking, and now he could try to be more comfortable on the mound. Coming in a clean inning, nobody on base, he can really set up and pitch the way he wants to in this fourth inning.
3-2 Joliet, top of the fourth as Dino Biggers swings at the first pitch and pulls this toward the gap in right center. It's going to get down for a base hit. It's knocked down by the right fielder Radcliffe, and holding at first base with a single is Biggers. Leadoff single to begin the fourth, and Joliet with its third hit of the day.
First, it maybe looked like there was a chance Radcliffe was going to be able to play that, but then it just dropped in a good spot. That one didn't have too much height on it. It was more of a liner out to left field. That was one, if it was skied a little bit more, Radcliffe could have tried to get under it, but because of where it was at, probably about chest level going out to the outfield, there really wasn't a chance that he was going to be able to catch it.
Stute stands in. Runner at first with nobody out. Here's the first pitch to Stute. It's inside for a ball, 1-0. 3-2 Joliet here in the fourth. The Generals have scored single runs in each of the first 3 innings. Let's see if No Host can put a 0 on the board. And the 1-0. Swinging a crack toward left center on the run is Hodges, and this is going to scatter a few seagulls and get in there for a base hit. Heading toward third is Biggers. He's getting the green light from Joe Silva. There could be a play at the plate, and no throw is made. Boy, I didn't see they possibly had a play at the plate as the ball's cut off, and they concede the run. RBI double for Tom Stute. It's his 5th run batted into the year. Biggers scores from first on the play. This would have been a close play had the relay throw gone toward the plate from the Oilman second baseman David Marshall, but he kept the runner at second base and chose not to throw onto the plate, and Joliet makes it 4-2.
That was a well-hit ball into the gap by Stoute there, rolling all the way to the outfield wall and allowing Biggers to get from first to home there. And that was one where it was probably a good play by Marshall not to try to throw it home, as that would have maybe put Stoute on third base, but instead he just kept it and just had to deal with the double there.
Here's the first pitch to Munoz. It's taken for a ball. Tell you what, though, I thought they maybe had an opportunity by the time Biggers rounded third. I would say he was maybe halfway. when Marshall received the ball, if that. Here's the 1-0. This is taken for a strike. Count 1 ball and 1 strike, but those are the decisions that can be difficult right in the moment to try to decide whether to relay it onto the plate or hold on to it, and the Oilmen decide to play it safe and keep the runner at second base. 1 ball and 1 strike from Nojos to Munoz. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a foul out of play. 1-2. There are hundreds of screaming children here at Oil City Stadium today. Is that your idea of a nice Wednesday afternoon?
Not really, but I can see where it's fun for the kids.
1-2. Leo is available for hire if you need anyone to watch your kids. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. This is swung on and lifted foul out of play, and the count remains 1-2.
I did a summer as a day camp counselor way back when. Not really itching to do that again.
Well, you're thinking actually we have a lot of kids down there. We might need you to go down and attend to some of the youngsters as a camp counselor here for the rest of the ball game.
No thanks.
1-2. Stute the lead at second. 4-2 Joliet in the fourth. Here's Shalaski set and his 1-2 pitch. This is high for a ball. Wednesday, of course, normally Senior Citizen Day, but only a couple senior citizens today. Those are normally the Wednesday night games with the buy one or half off, I should say, senior citizen tickets on Wednesdays. Here's the 2-2. This is low and outside for a ball, and the count goes full at 3-2. But today, it's not about the senior citizens. It's all about the youngsters here at Oil City Stadium. There are many of them, but a few seniors as well. 3-2 on Munoz. The lead at second for Stute. A big payoff pitch coming up from Shalaski. This is taken high for ball 4, and that is a walk. I said Shalaski. I meant Nojos, of course. As Shalaski left with the injury in the last inning. Now it's 4-2 in favor of Joliet, and the Generals really threatening for more against Nojos in this inning. With runners at first and second, nobody out.
Nojos still in search of his first out of the inning. He's at his best when he isn't walking batters. That's what he did there, so he's trying to keep that as the only walk of this inning here. His last time out, June 23rd against the American Giants, he threw an inning of scoreless balls, striking out 2. He's looking to try to pick up where he left off there.
This is sent foul. Left side in the count 0-1.
Still looking for an out. That's a common theme for the Oilmen today, where they have the Generals have multiple base runners on and nobody out at the board. That just makes it so much harder for the pitchers to get to work, and that's how a lot of those runs have been able to trickle in, is you're turning double plays, you're getting flyouts, but there's a runner on third base, so that still allows them to score.
4-2 Joliet as we play inning number 4. They scored once in each inning. The Oilmen trying to keep it at 1 here in the fourth. 0-1 swing and a miss, and the count 0-2. Stote the runner at second base. He doubled to drive in a run earlier in this inning. Munoz walked a moment ago. He's the runner at first. 0-2 on Stellato. Here's the pitch from Nojos. Swinging a ground ball towards short. This is fielded by Z-Big. They go to second, and it's going to be in time. They get the force at second base. Not a perfect throw, but Marshall's able to dig it out, the second baseman covering. It goes 6-4 on the fielder's choice. Munoz is the first out of the inning. Safe at first Stellato, and Stote advances to third.
So the Oilmen are able to get one out there, but that's where it's so big. Joliet's been getting runners on before giving up outs, is you put one out on the board, but then you still advance a runner 90 feet away from home plate. There's still 2 outs to work with in the inning. You're nowhere near out of the woods for Nojos and the Oilmen at this point.
Gould with runners at first and third. This is outside for a ball. The count 1-0. One ball, no strikes, 1 out. 4-2 in favor of the Generals. Here's the 1-0. This is taken for a strike, and the count 1-1.
One thing that's really been helping the Generals here, hurting the Oilmen, is the lack of strikeouts at the plate here. Just 2 so far. 1 came in a great spot. Both came to end innings, but not as many as you would have wanted for the Oilmen pitching staff. Joliet's just doing a good job putting the bat on the ball.
This is low for a ball. Runners are going to each move up, and now trying to get to third on the play with Stellato. He was in motion originally, and he dives headfirst safely into third. So here's the scoring on the play, a bizarre play as a run comes in and scores. It's a stolen base for Stellato to steal second. He was in motion with this pitch, but then a wild pitch, And the wild pitch allows Stute to score and Stellato to go to third. The throw to third was late as he dove in headfirst safely. It's now 5-2 in favor of the Generals, and another runner is only 90 feet away with Gould standing in. The middle infield stays back. They'll concede a run. The 2-1 is swung on and popped up. It's medium deep in center. Baker is under it. He gloves it, tagging at third Stellato. Here comes the throw toward the plate from Baker, and Stellato scores easily on the sacrifice fly off the bat of Gould. That is his 16th RBI of the season. Stellato comes in and scores, and it's now 6-2 Generals.
And that wild pitch really hurt the Oilmen there. Obviously, wild pitches always hurt, but that one, especially because it allowed the runner to get to third base, took away a chance of the Oilmen turning a double play. So now the sacrifice fly, you have 2 outs in the inning, which is good, but then that scores a run and puts it just that much tougher for the Oilmen to try to come back here.
Torona is standing in next with 2 outs and the base is clear. Here comes the first pitch to him. It's outside for a ball, 1-0. (6-2) Joliet. The Generals have scored 3 times in this 4th inning. Here's the 1-0. This is a swing and a line drive to left center. That ball is going to get down for a base hit. Toronas with extra bases as he's going to cruise into second base with a standing double. And he is hitting .447 on the year. Toronas, a deserved Northern League All-Star. He was 0 for 2 in his first 2 plate appearances, but he smokes a double left center here.
And the Generals have been really working that left field gap. That was a similar spot to where Stote put one. They've just been finding the good spots in the field where the Oilmen don't have players and getting the ball to drop in there. Really just making the pitchers work. Doesn't matter if it's Shalaski or No-Host. The Generals have been seeing the ball well today.
Now it's Caraway who has walked and struck out in this game. Caraway will back away. The Oilman bullpen is active again here in this 4th inning. 3 runs in the bank, 6-2 in favor of Joliet. Here's the pitch from No-Host. This is off the plate away, the count 1-0. This is our first broadcast since the Military Appreciation Night, or at least my first broadcast since the game on Friday night. And what a night it was here at Oil City Stadium. The Oilmen losing the game, but the game was secondary that night. The 1-0 is high, 2-0. The starter, Matt Lolito, of course, left with an injury. That was the one blemish of the evening, other than the Oilmen losing the game. But it was so good to have a chance to have a lot of different guests up in the booth that night. The 2-0, high and in for a ball, 3 balls and no strikes. No-Host falling behind Caraway here. We rotated in a lot of guests. We celebrated and honored those who have served and those who have lost their lives for our country and those who are active duty, servicemen and women. 3 balls and no strikes, the count on Caraway. No-Host ready. And his 3-0 pitch. This is low and outside, a 4-pitch walk, but again, thanks to everyone involved on Military Appreciation Night.
Just a very well done night. It was very interesting to hear from some of the different guests you had in the booth. It was fun to see everybody show up and the different memorials that were out there on the concourse. And even the Oilman uniforms, the patriotic uniforms, were a very nice touch, a surprise to everybody, and just a good night at the ballpark despite the Oilman end result.
Adam Enright saying it's cool because most nights it's about the Oilmen, but for one night he said it's not about us. Here's a ball sharply hit just foul down the first base line, and it's 0-1 on Dupuis. We know that's an important night to the American Legion and Indiana Fallen Heroes. Time called here as a baseball is loose. And the base umpire, Kevin Dado, is going to hold up play until that ball is retrieved. But it was brought to you by the fine folks at Northwest Indiana Building and Trades Construction Council. So we appreciate their partnership for Friday night, and it's always good to have Indiana Fallen Heroes here. What a worthwhile organization, a nonprofit. It's good to chat with Deb. Here's a pitch taken for a ball on the count 1-1. So again, Military Appreciation Night, a huge success, and we appreciate everybody who came out to the ballpark on Friday. 1 ball, 1 strike on Dupuis. Here's the 1-1. Outside for a ball, 2-1. NoHo's trying to find the strike zone here. A 4-pitch walk to Caraway a moment ago.
Just trying to get out of the danger zone here. There's 2 outs in the inning. The Generals have put up 3. You're just trying to get this last out and get your bats back up to try to cut into this deficit.
Here's the 2-1. This is taken high for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike. 3 runs in for the Generals in this 4th inning, and they're still batting. Here's the 3-1. And look out, hit by a pitch is Dupuis, and the bases are going to be full of Generals.
It's the 2nd time today Dupuis has been hit by a pitch. He also worked a walk in the 1st inning, so he's gotten on base 3 times today without really recording an official plate appearance.
So bases loaded with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Vertuno.
For NoHo's on the mound, you were just trying to get out of this at bat without allowing another batter to come up. You can't afford another run. You don't want to put him on. There's nowhere to put him here. The bullpen might be getting active again, but the Oilmen are just trying to keep this at a 6-2 game. You can't let it get too much bigger than that.
The late Charlie Pastorelli purchased a gift for Adam Enright during his first stint with the Oilmen. Charlie, of course, the longtime season ticket holder. It was some walkie-talkies, and Adam still uses them to this day, both during his spring season and here with the Oilmen. And those walkie-talkies have been active today as they are used to communicate with the bullpen and determine whether someone is ready, and for Adam to let the bullpen know who he wants to get ready down the right field line. Here comes the first pitch. It's taken high for a ball to count 1-0. Charlie passing away prior to the 2020 season. Hard to believe it's now our 3rd year without seeing Charlie here each and every day. 1 ball and no strikes. The count on Vertuno, the 9th General to bat in this inning. This is swung on and sent to left center. Long run for Baker. In the left center field gap, he reaches up and makes the catch. Baker made this look easy. It was a web gem of a catch in reality, and it takes away a bases-clearing double from Aaron Vertuno and causes the Oilmen to keep the damage to 3 runs. The Generals in that inning produced 3 hits, and they leave the maximum after 3.5. Generals 6, Oilmen 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success.
I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Back at Oil City Stadium, a lot of commotion between innings because the youngsters are all fired up. A few Oilmen players are signing autographs. Lucky the Unicorn signing a few autographs as well. And to the delight of the fans here at Oil City Stadium, they, Leo, were you ever one who would battle for autographs for a ball player?
Occasionally, more at signings and stuff. Never really before games, but it's always fun getting to see the players in person. I mean, you see them on TV or in the games, and then you're right up with them, and it seems larger than life. It was always a fun thing meeting the players.
Jack Zebig will lead off the 4th inning. Dupour's first pitch to Zebig, swinging a foul out of play left side. I'll tell you what, to a young kid that's maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years old, there's no difference between the Oilmen and, say, a major league team, the Chicago Cubs. So they really look up and idolize these Oilmen players. The 0-1 is taken high for a ball. And the players themselves love that. So it's great all around. I've seen it every year being here for a long time. The young kids getting autographs after the game, and then the Oilmen players loving signing those autographs after games, and particularly on Kids Day. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a line drive down the right field line. This is fair. It's extra bases perhaps for Ziebig. No, it's going to be a single. I thought this would curl into the corner, but it was a nice job by Stellato to track this down, and Ziebig has a single down the right field line.
That was big for the Oilmen as they had not recorded a hit since the first inning. Back-to-back 3-up, 3-down innings in the second and third. They were starting to fall into a bad rhythm at the plate, and then Ziebig was able to break it up with just one pitch there.
Yeah, you're right. The last hit was Baker leading off the ball game. A few more thoughts here on this autograph discussion as Zarnacki stands in. I used to, as a youngster, go to spring training, or we went a couple of times on a family vacation. And in spring training, the autographs are very big. Here's a ground ball to the right side. This is past the mound. Biggers tags the runner, then bobbles the ball, and they say it was on the transfer. So this goes as a fielder's choice. Out is Ziebig, 4 unassisted on the fielder's choice. Zarnacki's safe at first. Biggers had the ball jarred loose, and Kevin Dato says that was on the transfer, so he still gets the out for the first out of the inning.
That was a play where the Oilmen lost one out, but fortunately they avoided the opportunity for a double play. You would have liked to advance Ziebig, but at least Zarnacki's on base, and Marshall, who's put together some really good games against these Generals, is at bat here and could try to cut into this deficit.
Adam Enright arguing the call. He thought that the second baseman Biggers never possessed it and tagged the runner successfully, but Kevin Dato saying it was on the transfer. Runner on first with one away, but used to be big on those autographs. Cubs convention, went to that many times. Had all the autographs lined up on baseballs around the basement back in the day. 6-2 the score. Here's the pitch on the way, taken high for a ball, 1-0.
What was your prized one? Who'd you put front and center with those?
Oh, that's a good question. I remember one that was I had all the Cubs back in the day, but one that took a while to get that I tracked down. Here's a swing and a foul. As a kid was Alfonso Soriano, and I asked a member of the cleaning staff at Hohokam Park to take it into a weight room, and while he was working out in the weight room, get him to sign the ball. You know, you couldn't go in the stadium this time. The ballpark was closed. You could see him right through the door, and she took it, got him to sign it, brought it back to me, and that's how I got it.
Nice. He was a fun player to watch.
Yes.
I enjoyed him.
A lot of leadoff home runs. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Swinging a ground ball to the left side. Munoz fields this one. Could be 2. Flip to second 1. The relay throw to first is in time. That's a double play. 6-4-3 it goes, and the inning ends. The Oilmen, no runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. We go to the 5th. Leo will have the play-by-play for you when we come back. Joliet 6 and the Oilmen 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success.
I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted, bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Leo Stauder and Adam Oppenheim back with you here for the top of the 5th inning, where the yet in to do the hurling on the mound for the Oilmen. The left-hander will be taking his talents to Purdue Fort Wayne next season. After spending some time with the Southland Vikings last season, he's now with the Oilmen here in 2022. That'll be Paymaster coming in after no host departs the ball game. Paymaster, the southpaw on the mound, has appeared in 16 1/3 innings for the Oilmen. He has a record of 1-0 on the season. He earned run average just above 4 at 4.4. For 20 strikeouts, just 12 walks. He last threw for the Oilmen on Friday against the Corn Dogs, going 2 innings, allowing 3 runs on 3 hits, walking 3. He's unable to record a strikeout, so we'll see how the left-hander does today. This will be his third time facing the Generals this season. He appeared on June 14th, threw an inning there, and on May 23rd, opening day, throwing an inning. But Adam, this is a Generals offense that has been continuing to add to their lead, especially with a big 3 spot in the 4th inning.
Yeah, and the key for Paymaster, just to stop the bleeding. The Generals have scored in every single inning, including that 3-1 inning you mentioned of last inning, and trying to get their offense back up to score some runs. We've seen these games, no matter how much a team is down, especially in the Northern League, but even in Oilmen Generals, anything can happen. Still 5 innings left, which is a long way to go. And even though it seemed like the Generals have dominated so far, they're only up 4 runs.
That's just, for the Oilmen pitching staff, the key will be stability here, not to let it become more than 4 runs here, as Paymaster gets ready to face Biggers, a lefty-on-lefty matchup here. The General's second baseman, Biggers, fouls that over to left field to the grassy berm. Third at-bat of the game for him. He grounded into a double play in the second and singled, eventually came around and scored back in the 4th.
And also the key for the Oilmen is walks. They allowed 6 walks so far, 2 hit by pitches, and some wild pitches as well.
So now Paymaster with the 0-1 delivery. Hurls this one towards the plate, fouled away by Biggers. Makes it an 0-2 count.
And you didn't see this a lot with the last pitchers, Nohos and Shalaski, is the first pitch strikes and getting ahead of the hitter 0-2. And a lot of the Generals' runs start off with a leadoff walk or a hit. Then they got aggressive on the bases, and they were put in positions to score runs.
So Paymaster ahead 0-2 in this count, fires this one in, swing and a miss for strike 3. Biggers goes down swinging to start the inning. This is big for the Oilmen, as there have been lots of opportunities in this game where they have put the leadoff runner on base, and they have eventually came around and scored.
Yeah, and that's probably the best sequence that Oilman pitcher has thrown so far. You get 2 strikes on Biggers there, and then you put him away with a breaking ball off the plate, and a real good start for Jake Paymaster.
Paymaster got the result he wanted there with a strikeout, now facing Stote, the 9-hitter for the Generals. Stote chops this one away foul. First at bat against Paymaster. Against Shalaski, he grounded out in the 2nd inning. Against Nohos in the 4th, he doubled home a run and eventually scored. So his 3rd at bat of the game against a 3rd different Oilman pitcher. Stote, someone we've seen a lot in these Oilman Generals matchups this season, in his 15th game of the campaign. Batting .268 coming into today's game, and he's down 0-1 in this at bat. Paymaster tosses this one towards the plate. Grabs the outside corner for a strike.
And now we've seen 5 straight strikes from Paymaster. And he's in a really good position here to do whatever he wants with the ball. And trying to get a 1-2-3 inning, which would be huge for the Oilman Bats to try to wake up to get back in this one.
0-2 is the count as Paymaster fires this one towards Stoke. Grounds that over to second base. Marshall handles it, fires the first. Horniman makes the grab, so that'll be a put out for the second out here in the 5th inning. But the quickest inning so far for the Oilman pitching staff was the 2nd, where only 4 batters came up to the plate. We saw a double play after the leadoff man got on base and scored, but we're yet to see the Generals have an inning where they haven't scored yet, and that's a big reason why they are ahead by such a big margin.
Yeah, and really the Generals have hit the ball well. They have 5 hits, but really it's been the walks, which leadoff walks usually come around to hurt you as a pitcher.
2 away in this inning as Diego Munoz and the top of the order come to the plate here. Munoz has doubled and walked twice so far today. Just a lot of different Generals getting on base. It's been a group effort as Paymaster's behind 1-0 in this count. Lefty on righty matchup. The southpaw throws this and it's fouled away by Munoz. Munoz, a 2018 graduate of Mount Carmel High School, the same alma mater as Oilmen first baseman Colin Horniman, is in the box here with the 1-1 count.
You saw with Stout when Paymaster got ahead, he forced Stout to try to fight off a pitch and got an easy grounder. That's what's happened with Dupour a lot. He's gotten those weak grounders, those double play balls. That's how he's gone out of innings cleanly.
Paymaster's 1-1 pitch is fouled away by Munoz. Makes it a 1-2 count. So Paymaster just trying to finish off the inning here with Munoz. Can't afford much more offense from the Generals as they have 6 runs on 5 hits. Oilmen 2 runs on 2 hits. They're looking to try to make a comeback here in the bottom of the 5th inning when they come up. The 1-2 from Paymaster, that clips Munoz near the elbow. That is another hit batter, and that comes with 2 outs.
And this is sort of a scoreline you don't see from a player every day. A double, 2 walks, both out on a fielder's choice, and a hit by pitch.
Yeah, that's a unique one, as Munoz has been on base frequently, but has gone out by both of those fielders' choices were also 6-4.
Also 6-4.
Like, you get on base with a walk and then get the same result when you're already on base. So those fielders' choices have came courtesy of Anthony Stellato, who's in the box here. He's reached base 3 times today, scored once. Takes one outside from Paymaster for a ball. The throw over to first. The tag applied, and he's out. Quick heads-up play by Zarnacki to make the throw over to first in time for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Generals finally go a frame without scoring. Midway through 5 here, it's Generals 6, Oilmen 2. The home team will try to answer when we come back, so stick around on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back here at Oil City Stadium, where we're getting ready for the bottom of the 5th inning between the Northwest Indiana Oilmen and the Joliet Generals. After 5.5, it's Joliet leading 6-2. The Oilmen are looking to make a comeback here and not save too much for the end, as it'll be Cosenza, Clark, and Horniman, the 1-2-3 for the Oilmen in this inning. This 7, 8, 9 batters as well. But the Oilmen only have 2 hits in this ball game, not working really many walks either, so they've been short on base runners today, and that's been a big advantage for Sava Dupour on the mound.
Yeah, the first inning, Dupour really struggled, but besides that, he's gone through this tough Oilman lineup, and the key is he's been throwing strikes, getting ahead, and getting weak contact. He only has 1 strikeout, but the way he's pitching, you get that weak contact, you're fine with getting outs that way as well.
Joe Cosenza comes to the box here. He was a ground-out victim, as Adam mentioned, in the 2nd inning. This is his 2nd at-bat of the day. He whiffs on that one to make it an 0-1 count. 1-1 is the count at the plate, as Dupour, the right-hander, facing Cosenza, the right-hander, fires towards the plate. That one drops high for ball 2.
Also, we've seen with Dupour when he struggled this season, his first 6 appearances, he's given up 24 runs, but he has the 2 scoreless innings on the 30th against the Panthers.
Cosenza sends this one over to Biggers at 2nd. He throws in time for the 1st out of this inning. That's another ground out for the Oilmen, as they really haven't been able to put much contact in the air.
Yeah, not only is this weak contact helping Dupour, but it's helping his fielders. The harder a ball hit, more chance or more likely it is to be an air, and we haven't seen any of those for the Generals today. Again, I do not want to jinx it because last time I did that, there were 3 errors in the next inning.
Yeah, you really slowed down the pace of play that last time up. A lot of self-inflicted mistakes. After you said it was a very clean ball game, as Chaz Clark steps into the box here for his second at-bat, takes a first pitch ball from Dupour. Clark, the left-handed batter, grounded out to second in the second inning. So now he is trying to reach base for the first time today. The Oilmen only have a pair of hits. That's really been holding them back. As Clark fouls this one away, evens the count at 1-1.
But like I was saying about Dupour, after those 2 scoreless, including the win against the Panthers, manager Joe Silva has the confidence to put him back out here in a game against the Oilmen, coming off a huge comeback win against the Corn Dogs. And you have a feeling he feels that confidence that his manager puts him out there to start.
Clark fouls this one away. That's so big for a pitcher, not only to get that next opportunity from your manager, but to get an opportunity against a team you struggled with to try to right the ship and get your confidence back, because maybe the Oilmen now are expecting something different from him, but he's been going with a changed approach, and it's been working so far. The 1-2 from Dupour, that's inside and gets Clark on the back, so he'll be hit by a pitch there, and it'll be a base runner for the Oilmen here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And I think the Oilmen might want to try to get aggressive on the bases. And it seemed like where a lot of the Generals pitchers have struggled is not with the bases empty, but when there's been a runner on, you're having to look at the runner. But the runners haven't been on for that long for the Oilmen except the first inning. Dupour has gone out of innings with double play balls and good fielding.
So now Colin Horniman steps into the box here with 1 away and a man on. His first pitch from Dupour is high for a ball. Horniman hit his first home run in an Oilman uniform on Saturday at the Kroc Center. A 2-run shot out to right center field, tied the game up and helped really propel the Oilmen to a win. As he's ahead 1-0 in this count, takes another ball. But for a player that just finished his high school career, getting that first long ball, that could maybe lead to some bigger things from him as he's running now there into the second half of the season.
No doubt about it, especially you have the All-Star break and then into a big second half and into the playoffs.
Horniman sends this one opposite field into the right field. That rolls into Stellato. That'll be a base hit. Clark goes from first to third. So the Oilmen getting some life here with 1 away as Horniman goes opposite field to put runners on the corners.
Interestingly enough, after Dupour recorded the first out, that was his season high in innings after he went 4 on June the 15th. And now we see some action maybe in the Generals bullpen. Looks like it will be Will James warming up.
Chris Baker, the leadoff hitter, coming to the box here in his first game back with the Oilmen here. This could be a huge spot for them to capitalize on as he singled and scored in the first inning. Set the tone well for them, and now trailing 4, he comes up in a really big spot. Baker on the season batting .373 as there's a meeting on the mound amongst the Generals. Joe Silva will head back to the dugout. Baker, though, 31 hits, 20 runs scored. This is all coming into today's game. 8 doubles, 3 triples, and 1 long ball. 16 runs batted in and 16 walks. He is always dangerous at the plate, especially against these Generals. He had some really big at-bats in that doubleheader a couple weeks back.
Hey, he's been huge since the opening night where he drew a walk. Sometimes you remember stuff that, haunts you.
First pitch to Baker, drops in there for strike 1. 0-1 count with 1 out in this inning.
But really, the danger of a hitter who has power but also doesn't chase balls is immense.
Runners on first and third for the Oilmen. It's 0-1 pitch to Baker is fouled away onto the concourse here to make it an 0-2 count. You have Clark on third base, Horniman on first, Baker at the plate. All opposing Sava Dupour, who has really settled down after a first inning where he seemed to lack command. But now he is ahead against Chris Baker. The righty settles in, gets into his set position, kicks towards the plate, misses outside for ball 1 there. Kind of wasted one against Baker. Count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's overlooked on a 0-2 pitch. You want to try to throw something at chase, but you have to tempt a hitter. Not a lot of hitters swing way outside the zone, and it's sort of just like you're helping work them back into the count.
Baker fouls this one away, keeps the count at 1-2. This one goes near the backstop at home plate. Now Caraway steps out to the mound to talk to his starter Dupour, maybe buy some time for the Generals bullpen.
I think also the key you look at is first and third. Usually with Dupour on 2 strikes, you would call a breaking ball, but you're sometimes afraid of the wild pitch that it gets away from Caraway, and it could advance the runners and score a run for the Oilmen.
So 1-2 is the count at the plate. 1 out, that came to the first batter, Cosenza. Baker, the left-handed batter, facing Dupour, the right-handed pitcher. Here comes the 1-2. Baker swings and misses for strike 3. That'll be the second out of the inning. That'll bring Kyle Radcliffe to the box here with runners on the corners, and now 2 away. His team trails by 4.
And that's a gutsy pitch by Dupour. A ball that is over the plate, but at the same time, he keeps it low enough that, if Baker's going to hit that into the gap, so be it. But you got to be able to attack a hitter like Baker, and a big out for Dupour.
As Baker goes down swinging, in comes Radcliffe for his third at-bat of the game. He walked and scored in the first inning. He grounded out in the third, and now he takes a ball from Dupour. The count, it moves to 1-0. Radcliffe still getting acclimated with the Oilmen here. A bit of a later addition to the lineup. That could be a welcome boost as he fouls this one away on a check swing over onto the concourse, banging off a light pole. But getting a new player mid-season that could be a little bit of reinforcements makes the team a little deeper, as Radcliffe has the count of 1-1.
And having depth on your team is a huge advantage, especially when you're playing 3, 4, 5 times a week, and a lot of players need rest.
That one inside makes it a 2-1 count. Radcliffe, a left-handed batting outfielder. Settling in here, 2 balls and a strike. Looking to try to drive in a run as he has Clark on third base, Horniman on first. The Oilmen have not scored since the first inning when they played at 2. They are trying to get back into this one. Radcliffe sends that up the middle of the infield. Biggers handles it, throws over to first, and the throw gets there in time. The Oilmen put a pair on, but aren't able to score anything as they go down with a goose egg in this inning. So after 5, the score remains Generals 6, Oilmen 2. We'll be back next for the 6th inning on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Is just too hot. God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. Everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, We've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Back at Oil City Stadium with Leo Staudaher, Brandon Vickery back with you. Adam Oppenheim is working alongside, and James Dorr is with us as well today as we take it to inning number 6. It's the Generals 6 and the Oilmen 2. Joliet scoring 1 run in each of the first 3 innings before they really provided some separation with a 3 spot in the top of the 4th, and it adds up to a 6-2 lead in favor of the Gens as we take it to inning number 6. It'll be Stellato, Gould, and Terrones to bat for Joliet in this 6th inning, 2, 3, and 4, and they will come to the plate against left-handed pitcher Jake Paymaster. In case you're just tuning in, the starter Shalaski went just 2 2/3 innings. He left due to an injury. He allowed 3 runs on 2 hits. They were earned. He walked 4 and struck out 1. Then it was no host for an inning and a third. He allowed 3 hits, 3 runs. They were earned, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. And now it is Paymaster back out for his 2nd inning of work. First pitch to him is taken for ball 1.
Now the Oilmen with Paymaster are hoping for a little bit of stability, getting a pitcher that can go in there, throw multiple innings. He's shown that he can work a couple innings and can be really effective on the mound.
1-0 low here in the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Stellato. Lefty on lefty.
It's big for the Oilmen, too, to have a left-handed arm out of the pen. That's something not a lot of teams in the league have. It's a bit of an advantage. It can be something you could use strategically against maybe a lefty-heavy lineup.
2-0 swing and a miss in the count, 2-1. This game is only the start of a 4-game homestand this week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Leo and I will be with you for 3 straight games starting today. Here's the 2-1. Swinging a tapper back to the mound, fielded by Paymaster. He spins around and guns it to first in time for the first out of the inning. 1-3, the put out goes. There's 1 away, and that'll bring up Gould. But we'll have it for you each of the next couple nights as the Oilmen play 7-10 games, and we'll go on the air at 7 o'clock each of these next 2 nights. The Giants will be in tomorrow, and then the Vikings on Friday night.
And 2 of the next 3 against the Vikings, a team that's had their number as of late. We'll see how the Oilmen try to bounce back against the Southland.
And Saturday will be a 6-10 start, and that'll be the final game before the All-Star break. Here's a pitch low, and it's ball 1.
It'll be fun to get that All-Star game underway here at Oil City Stadium, one of the best nights of the season. And then the Oilmen will get some days off as well mixed in there and can try to come out recharged from that All-Star break.
1-0 high and outside for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes on Gould. 1 away here in the 6th, 6-2 Joliet. Oilmen beating these Generals 6-3 in the most recent meeting last week on June the 29th. They hold a 5-2 record against Joliet this season. The 2-0 is swung on and lifted foul off to the right out of play, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. All time, the Oilmen are 50-21-1 against the Gens, including 3-1-1 a year ago in the regular season. Here's the 2-1. It's a ball I brought up on the air, but it was not a game I was working with you, Leo. The memorable ending to the regular season a year ago with the Oilmen clinching the regular season title in a game against the Generals in very bizarre fashion. Here comes the 3-1. This is swung on and lifted in the air to shallow right, racing in Radcliffe, and Radcliffe is going to glove it for the 2nd out of the inning.
The rainstorm with the bases loaded
yes.
at the bottom of the 9th, that was a fun one. One of the crazier endings I've ever seen to a game. I remember for the post game after that one thinking, well, they didn't win, they didn't lose, how to frame it. There was still potential for more. At that point, we weren't completely sure if they had clinched the regular season title, because I believe there was another variable. So it was one of the stranger post-game shows I had done. That was a crazy end of that game.
Yeah, it was a tied game in the 9th inning with the bases loaded for the Oilmen, trying to walk it off. And instead, the rain came, and the game could not be continued. Here's a looper foul right near Ethan, the photographer. The count will be 0-1 after a foul off the bat at Terrones.
If I recall, there might have been a couple pitches thrown in the at-bat, but you could just tell the rain was coming down too hard, that it was dangerous for everybody involved. That there was no way to finish that final at-bat.
I want to say Mike Clay might have been the home plate umpire that game, but I'm not 100% certain. Mike, of course, calling balls and strikes today. Here comes the 0-1. Taken outside for a ball, 1-1.
it just seemed like anytime the Oilmen and Generals met last season, it was memorable. There was the big doubleheader out at Benedictine where the Oilmen swept them. There was the rainy game. Then obviously the championship produced a couple of thrilling games. So whenever these two teams squared off last season, it was fun. And this year it feels like a little bit of that intensity has carried over where both teams seem fired up when they do play.
This is off the plate away, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. 6-2 in favor of Joliet as we play the top of inning number 6. A rematch of last year's championship series, Oilmen and Generals. This is fouled, and the count 2-2. And how about the job of Joe Silva? He was the manager of the year in the Northern League a year ago. He turned around a team that had really been struggling. The Generals manager before Joe is also in the ballpark tonight, and that's Oilmen assistant coach Matt Vituli. They had a few down years under Matt. They were toward the bottom of the standings prior to that as well. Joe Hernandez was their first manager in Joliet. There's the 2-2 to Toronis. This is swung on and lifted foul. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. But Joe Silva came in and did a very good job.
And it says a lot, too, that so many players from last year came back to play for him again this year, that they had a good experience with him, wanted to run it back. And even if the record isn't at the same spot it was at this time last year for Joliet, they're a tough team to beat. We saw last night coming from behind late against the Corn Dogs. They put up some good games against the Oilmen here. They're a team you can't take lightly in this 4 seed right now at 12-13.
There's a 2-2. Taking high for a ball. We go full at 3-2. Paymaster trying to work a 1-2-3 inning. Something no Oilman pitcher has accomplished. They did face the minimum in the 5th, but it took a pickoff to help the Oilmen face only 3 batters in that 5th inning. Here's the payoff pitch. This is low and inside for ball 4, and the inning will extend as Toronis works the walk on a full count pitch.
Good at bat there by Toronis. A good take, too, with the full count, putting them in a spot here with Deshante Caraway, who could try to break the game open and put another run on the board. The Generals have done a good job of not letting the Oilman pitchers get too comfortable. Whenever it looks like they're starting to get into a groove, they always are able to work a base runner, get a hit, work a walk, and just extend these innings.
Here's the first pitch to Caraway. This is low and in, trying to advance to second base. Here is Toronis, and he will. This is a dirt ball read. Toronis reads this well and advances on a wild pitch. 1 ball and no strikes the count. He saw the pitch was going to be low and in the dust, and it was going to be difficult for Zarnacki to cut him down on this play. And he takes second base. Now a base hit could drive an insurance run for Joliet, which already owns a 4-run lead here in the 6th. Here's the 1-0. Caraway swings and misses. The count 1-1.
Now the Generals just putting another runner in scoring position. They are threatening again here in the 6th inning. They've just been doing a good job of putting the pressure on these Oilman pitchers. And now for Paymaster here, your focus just has to be on Caraway at the plate with 2 outs in this inning.
1 ball and 1 strike. The runner a lead from second. I've seen so many of these kids' days. When I used to travel with our women's basketball team, especially at Valpo, a lot of times in the women's games, they'll have kids' days around the holidays, and they'll just pack the arenas with young kids, and the game will start at 11 a.m. or noon or maybe 1 o'clock, sometimes 10 a.m.
We had one of those at Illinois State. It was an 11 a.m. game during finals week, so for a sports director at a radio station, you can imagine that was a tough one for me to find people to work that one.
1 ball, 1 strike on Caraway. Here's the 1-1. This is high for a ball on the count 2-1. But I always enjoy the kids' days. We've had it at Oil City Stadium every summer. Just about every summer since the team began back in 2012. It's a very good audience today. Here's the 2-1. Taken for a strike, but yeah, in case you're just joining us, a few of the kids have started to head for the exits already, but when this was at peak capacity today, it was perhaps the largest crowd of the year, certainly rivaling it, as it was a near sellout full of youngsters here today at Oil City. Here's the 2-2. This is low for a ball, and we go full at 3-2.
Now Paymaster here with 2 outs in the inning. You don't want to give up another walk. You were almost out of it, then worked a long at bat against Toronis, who's now advanced to second base, and now Caraway doing a good job forcing him to throw a lot of pitches and just make this inning go a little bit longer.
Here's the set and the payoff pitch. This is inside for ball 4. Back-to-back two-out walks here. And now the inning continues for Dupuis.
Just good at-bats there by Caraway and Toronas. Both of them going 6 pitches. Both of them making Paymaster throw all over the zone. And both of them ended with walks. And now sending Dupuis up here, who's reached base 3 times without recording a hit. Joliet still just keeping the line moving here with 2 away.
Oilmen pitching has issued 8 walks now. We're only in the 6th. Here's the first pitch strike. A needed one to Dupuis in the count 0-1. Generals out hitting the Oilmen 5-3, and they lead the column to count 6-2. 0-1. Here's the next pitch from Paymaster, swinging a line drive to first, caught by the first baseman Horniman, and the inning ends on a soft line drive. No runs, no hits, and 2 left for the Generals in the 6th. We played 5.5. It's Joliet 6 and the Oilmen 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Back for the bottom of the 6th inning, 6-2 in favor of the Generals. The Generals haven't scored those since the 4th, and that's been the work of Jake Paymaster. He did issue two-out walks in the 6th, but kept the Joliet Generals off the board in that 6th inning. And so the Oilmen still in the game. They haven't scored since the 1st. The key is going to be getting the offense going. They're going to have to do it against Sava Dupour, who remains in the game to work this 6th inning.
Well, that was big for Paymaster to provide some stability to the Oilmen bullpen, as you had to go to the pen earlier than you anticipated in this game. So that's sometimes tougher for these pitchers. You're coming in earlier, you have to go longer. It just throws everything off a little bit, where each guy's maybe slotted up a couple innings, and then Paymaster was maybe able to get them back on track here, as they might have some more arms available today to try to keep this game within reach.
Jason Hodges is going to bat here in the 6th inning to lead it off. 3, 4, and 5. The heart of the order for the Oilmen. He takes high and outside for a ball. We always talk about Leo, a key getting into the opposing bullpen.
And that's what the Oilmen have not been able to do today. And credit to Dupour. It looked like the Oilmen were on track to do that as he launched this one towards the plate.
Here's a awkward-looking swing, and it'll cost Hodges a strike. He tried to hold up on a pitch that was low and inside, but he went around. It's 1-1.
But in the 1st inning, it looked like the Oilmen were on track to that. You scored 2 runs, you're taking a lot of pitches, but then Dupour really settled in nicely and has lasted all the way until the 6th inning now.
Here's the 1-1. This is swung on and lifted to shallow right, racing in and playing this on a bounce is Stellato, the right fielder. It's a base hit. Leadoff single, Jason Hodges, and we'll see if that leads to bigger and better things for the Oilmen offense.
That is what the Oilmen needed here, especially to start off an inning. So frequently, they've been having the first batter go down, and they've had some productivity later in innings, but those are with outs already in the bank. This helps out, as now you're starting an inning with one of your better base runners on base, as Zebig got a single his last time up, and then was grounded on a fielder's choice, but he could try to get Hodges on the move.
Zebig standing in, first pitch to him, low for a ball, and now trying to move up, and the throw to second base is going to be in time. Out on the play is Hodges for the first out of the inning. Hodges tried to advance on a pitch in the dirt, score this 2-6, but do not credit a caught stealing here. It's just a put out at second base, as Hodges would not have received credit for a steal because he advanced on a pitch that was in the dirt, but did not advance because he was out 2-6 for the first out of the sixth inning. Here comes the 1-0 pitch on the way to Z-Big, and it's low for a ball, 2-0.
That really kills some of the momentum the Oilmen were starting to get in this inning. He started off the inning with the base hit, then the Generals put him out, so now Z-Big working in this at-bat, changing his approach where maybe he was thinking he could drive in a run. Now he has to be the guy to get on base here.
2-0 swinging a foul down the left field line, out of play. On one hand, you're trying to make something happen in a game where you are down and you're trying to put pressure on the other team by running. But on the other hand, you're down multiple runs. You could use a big inning. You don't want to run into outs.
That's what the Oilmen did there, is they haven't had many chances to try to steal bases, but then Caraway was able to gun down Hodges there.
2 balls and a strike here. Here comes the 2-1. This is swung on and lifted to right. This is going to get down for a base hit. It's in front of Stellato, the right fielder, as Z-Big is safe at first. Back-to-back singles to begin this inning, but he had the put out at second base for the first out, so instead of runners at first and second with nobody out, was a runner at first with only one away.
So now the Oilmen just have to work with what they have there. You would have liked to have 2 base runners on, but unfortunately that's not the reality there. And there was just a good piece of contact there by Z-Big, as the outfielders were pretty deep back, and he just kind of dropped it in a spot there where it was too shallow for them to try to come in and make that catch in the air.
Zarnacki swings and lifts this one in the air towards left center on the run, and not able to make the catch as the center fielder Toronis. This is extra bases, headed toward third. Z-Big, he's going to get the green light from Matt Vituli. Z-Big's going to try to score. He will. No relay throw as it's cut off. RBI double. Kyle Zarnacki and the Oilmen have made the 3-run game. It's now 6-3 Joliet.
That was huge for the Oilmen, scoring for the first time since inning number 1 here, getting 1 on the board. Zarnacki's been swinging a good bat as of late, especially against the Generals here. The last time they met, he had a pair of RBIs and a hit, also walked and scored 2 runs. So he's been able to get another run driven in here against Joliet, and now bringing David Marshall, who seemingly always has a pretty good game against these Generals. He was one of the key players in that doubleheader where the Oilmen took 2 from them.
Marshall stand in with 1 out and runners at second, or a runner at second, I should say. 1 run in the bank in this inning. Here's the first pitch to him. Swinging a ground ball to the right side. Tricky bounce, but it's navigated by Biggers. He lobs it to first in time for the second out of the inning. Advancing to third on the play, Zarnacki. It's a big run there, as you'd love to make it a 6-4 game by the time this inning concludes.
You're able to cut it in half. Now you also advance a runner over to third base, bring Joe Cosenza, who's making contact. They have a pair of groundouts, but he would love to see him drive one in, put one in the outfield, get a runner in here, as it feels like he's due, as he's been able to see Dupour pretty well today, but just hasn't been able to drive it.
2 outs and a runner at third. Here's a swing and a ground ball foul, and the count 0-1. Oilmen out hitting the Generals 6-5 now, but they trail the column that counts by a 6-3 count. Here's the 0-1. Low for a ball, wild pitch, and trying to score Zarnacki. He will. It's 6-4. Zarnacki scores on a wild pitch, and the Oilmen have scored twice in this 6th inning. It's a 6-4 ball game.
It was a good read by Zarnacki there, realizing he had a chance to come in. We saw Cosenza gave him a wave there, as that one just skipped away from Caraway. The catcher rolled all the way to the backstop and kind of got hidden back there. So now the Oilmen have brought it within 2 here, and now Cosenza is just trying to extend the inning.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6-4 Generals as we play inning number 6. Again, that out on the try to advance by Hodges kind of hurts. Here's a swing and a miss, and the inning ends because he could have had maybe 3. But you do get 2 on 2 hits and leave none after 6. Generals 6, Oilmen 4 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I I am a success.
I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in the land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Back for the 7th inning. It's 6-4 in favor of Joliet as we get set for the 7th inning of play. Paymaster completing his warm-up tosses here. Brandon Vickery, Leo Staudaher, happy to have you with us. Kind of an overcast day, but a very pleasant temperature. And you have to be pretty happy with the fact that originally there was rain in the forecast, but instead it turned into a nice day for baseball and a good day for Kids Day at the ballpark.
Yeah, looking at the forecast today, it was a little worrying. Not sure if we were going to be able to play today, but we really lucked out and just got a great day to play a game. And now the Oilmen bats are starting to heat up, making it closer than it was. And it's just been an overall solid day to have Kids Day. I recall last year Kids Day was just one of those beastly hot days at the start of summer. Today has been a much better weather performance.
6-4 the score in favor of Joliet. Yeah, you don't want the kids out on a 100-degree day, but no rain, so nice and overcast. And you didn't have to worry about as much sunscreen if you're a camp counselor today, Leo, as you well know, I'm sure, with Fortuno standing in here to lead off. I've never been a camp counselor, so I'm just assuming that you have to worry about making sure everyone has sunscreen on. This is low for a ball, count 1-0.
I just make sure I have the sunscreen on. If the kids don't want to listen to me put it on, that's too bad. But my Irish skin doesn't do very well out in the sun, so I just try to look out for number one sometimes.
1 ball and no strikes on Fortuno. 6-4 Generals. The Oilmen have gotten back in the game with 2 big runs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's Paymasters 1-0. Swung on and lifted toward right center. Baker speeding underneath it. Baker still going back. He can't make the catch. This is over his head and heading towards second base and reaching safely with a double is Fortuno. Baker had a long way to go. It's a play that Baker usually makes, but Fortuno gets a 2-base hit on a ball that's over Baker's head, and he couldn't make the catch reaching up in deep right center field.
That was just out of reach of the glove of Chris Baker. He had to kind of go back on an angle, looking over the shoulder. That's a tricky play to make, but he covers so much ground out there, so for one to beat him out there in deep center field, that was a well-hit ball.
So it's the 6th Joliet hit of the day, and it brings up Baker's, but off the bat, I thought Baker was going to track that down, but then he just kept going back. It was normally in his range, but it's out of the range of a lot of center fielders. This is a ground ball foul, and the count is 0-1, so no way you could say that was ordinary effort, even though it's a play that I'm sure Adam Enright and Chris Baker expected to be made.
Especially after that catch Baker made to end the 4th inning, where there was a play maybe only a couple of players in the league are making. Baker just makes the extraordinary look so ordinary sometimes out there in center field. So when one beats him, you always take notice of it, I guess.
Biggers with a runner at second, and Joliet leading 6-4 here in inning number 7. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a tapper foul in the count 0-2.
Paymaster getting a 3rd inning of work here. He's been a big positive for the Oilmen pitching staff today. We'll see maybe if somebody else comes out for the 8th or the 9th inning, but you can really credit the Oilmen staying in this game to Jake Paymaster.
So important to string some zeros together after the Generals had scored at least 1 run in each of the first 4 innings. Back-to-back zeros in the 5th and 6th. But a runner at second with nobody out. Here's the 0-2. Low and outside for a ball, 1-2.
Paymaster was another one of those pitchers for the Oilmen who had to come in earlier than expected on Friday against the Corn Dogs, so now he's getting a bounce-back performance and really just helping lift the load for this pitching staff.
Dino Biggers batting with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. 6-4 Joliet in the 7th inning. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and that is strike 3. Remaining as the play for a moment was Biggers, but he's out on strikes. He went too far. It was nearly a full swing, and then he kind of pulled the bat back after. But he's out on strikes for the first out of the 7th inning.
That was one where he tried to pull away, committed too far, and just had to walk back with a little bit of frustrated strikeout there as Paymaster got him to offer at 1 high and away.
1 out, and Stote will stand in. Stote's been around the league for a few years. He'll bat with 1 out and a runner at second base. Big strikeout for Paymaster with a man in scoring position.
That was a good way to get that first out of the inning because we've seen Joliet capitalize on that so much when they get these early base runners. They continue to string them together.
Ground ball left field base hit. Heading to third base on the play and holding there is Vertuno. And safe at first is Stote. It's a ground ball single for Stote. Vertuno moves up 90 feet to third. And it's a situation where the inning gets a little more precarious now with runners at first and third and 1 away.
That's why that strikeout becomes even more important there as you'd have the bases loaded without that one, and we've just seen so many innings like this from Joliet where they are just able to work lots and lots of base runners early and then forcing the Oilmen into tough positions defensively.
Runners at first and third, 1 out, 6-4 in favor of the Generals. We're in the 7th inning at Oil City Stadium. Here's Paymaster's first pitch. Swinging a crack foul sharply off the sidewall, and the count 0-1. A lot of kids in the ballpark today. Lucky the Unicorn was very popular today, signing a lot of autographs, as was Oilman Stan. And some of the kids have started to head back home or to their respective camps or YMCAs or Boys and Girls Clubs here in Northwest Indiana. Here comes the 0-1. Taken for a strike, and now it's 0-2. Paymaster would love a strikeout right here.
That comes in a big spot. You don't have to risk putting the ball in play either with the strikeout because we've seen the Oilmen have turned a couple of double plays, but we've also seen chances where Joliet's base running has taken away that possibility of double plays, so you don't want to try to bank on that too much with a runner on third base.
2 strikes on Munoz. Here's the 2-strike pitch. It's outside for a ball. We tried to get him to go after it. He laid off, and the count goes to 1-2. 6-4 Generals. They led 6-0. They led 6-2 before the Oilmen got 2 in the 6th. And the Oilmen trying to keep it a 2-run game here in the 7th. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Swinging a foul out of play right side. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Good battle here.
We've seen Paymaster has done pretty well with runners on base today. He had 2 men on in the 6th inning with 2 outs and was able to work out of that. He seems to be one of those pitchers that doesn't get phased too much when he has runners on. And this is a big spot here with runners on the corners and just 1 away.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runners take their leads from first and third. 6-4 in favor of the Generals. Here's the 1-2. Runner goes. Pitch outside for a ball. Throw to second base is going to be not in time. Holding at third on the play is Vertuno. So the Oilmen do throw through, but Stote safe at second with the steal, and Vertuno holds at third.
So the Generals opt not to try to send the man home there even with the throw over to second. But on that play, they do put now both runners in scoring position, take away the chance of a double play. So this makes it a lot tougher for Paymaster on the mound.
2-2. A base hit could reverse the damage that the Oilmen did in the bottom of the 6th inning, as Joliet could up the lead right back to 4. Paymaster would love a strikeout. The 2-2. It's outside for a ball, and we go full at 3-2.
Paymaster was ahead in this count, now falls to 3-2. We've seen Munoz just do a really good job of working his way back into this one. You don't want to see him get the walk here and put the bases juiced.
3 balls and 2 strikes. We are in the 7th inning. 6-4 in favor of the Generals. Here comes Paymaster's payoff pitch. It's high for ball 4, and the bases are going to be loaded. Munoz has been on base, Leo, all 5 times, and he has just 1 hit.
He's been a tough out to get for Oilmen pitching, taking long at-bats. He was hit by a pitch and just really been a danger at the plate. He was put out on a couple of fielders' choices, was thrown out in the 5th inning, but still on the base paths a whole bunch for the Generals.
Yeah, when your leadoff hitter is on base 5 times in a game, that's usually a good sign for scoring quite a few runs in that ball game, because it sets the stage for the middle of your order. Stellato swings and comes up empty, and the count 0-1. 6-4 Generals. We are in the 7th inning at Oil City Stadium. overcast. No sunshine, but no rain here today. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a crack that's going to get through for a base hit. A line drive up the middle, 1 run in. And they're going to play station-to-station baseball here as everybody moves up 90 feet as the one-hop throw comes in from center. RBI single, Anthony Stellato. The Generals have added to the lead. It's Stellato's 7th RBI of the season. It makes it 7-4 in favor of Joliet.
And that just helps them get a little more insurance, get an extra run on the board, make it a 3-run game again, and you still have the potential for more. They didn't get too aggressive, and they maybe didn't need to, as you still have the bases loaded, 1 out. You don't have to risk too much.
Now it's Gould. Gould is 0 for 2. He has driven in 2 runs. He has a sac fly and a walk in this game. Pitch to him, swung on and lifted to left. This ball's going to get down for a base hit. And at least 2 will score. Around third and trying to score from first. Here comes the relay throw. And the play at the plate. It's in time. Out at the plate on the relay is Stellato trying to score from first. So the play goes as a 2-run double for Gould. He now has 4 RBIs in this game alone and 19 for the season. But the Oilmen do get the out on what I believe is a 7-6-2 relay to the plate for the second out of the inning.
And a good heads-up play by the Oilmen to realize there was still a chance for that play to be made at the plate. We saw Zebig, the shortstop, make a really good throw, accurate throw in to Zarnacki, the catcher, to make the tag just with enough time. And so the Oilmen gave up the runs there, but at least were able to get an out of that play, which was big for them.
So it's 9-4, though, in favor of the Generals. That was a bit of a backbreaker. Nearly a bases-clearing double, but the third runner out at the plate. Here's a pitch taken low for a ball. The count 1-0.
Especially when you could feel that the Oilmen were getting back into it. They made it a 2-run game in the 6th, and then this one, Joliet just putting their foot on the gas and driving away with this one.
1 ball and no strikes on Taronis. The lead at second for Gould. Here comes the 1-0. Swinging a foul out of play. The count 1 ball and 1 strike. It's now 9-4 Generals, a big 3-run 7th inning for Joliet. The Oilmen are going to have some work to do against the General bullpen if they want to come back and win here on this Wednesday afternoon.
It's big for Joliet that they're not getting into their bullpen most likely until the 7th inning, where the Oilmen had to go to it early in the game, and they've kind of been putting together their pitching staff, making it up as they go along a little bit here today, and they've fallen behind now by 5 runs.
Here's the 1-1 to Taronis. It's taken for a ball, 2-1. Good to have you along on a weekday afternoon, wherever you may be finding us on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. Brandon Vickery, Leo Staudaher, Adam Oppenheim as well. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the pitch to Taronis, swinging a ball lifted foul. Happy to have you along if you're on Region Sports or Jed TV or AM 1230 WJOB out of Hammond or on the Oilmen Facebook page. Thanks for making Oilmen baseball a part of your day. Maybe you're joining us from the office today as you're working or really not working, instead just watching baseball on a Wednesday afternoon. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 9-4 Joliet. 3 already in this inning. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Taken high and outside for a ball. We go full at 3-2.
Joliet just doing a lot of damage here. Even with 2 outs, they're still threatening, have a runner in scoring position. And we've seen now Taronis being able to work this count to full. The Oilmen are not out of it yet.
2 outs, 3-2 Gould at second. And Paymaster's payoff pitch. Taken high, ball 4. Well, it's never easy, Leo, when your starting pitcher leaves early due to an injury, and especially if you have it happen twice in back-to-back home games.
No, that throws the plan off, because we've seen a lot of what the Oilmen is you typically get your starter go 5 to 6 innings, and then you can have 3 relievers go maybe 1 inning apiece for the last 3 innings. So that throws off the plan here, where now guys have had to go multiple innings when they might normally not do that, and when you have to go to that bullpen earlier, you're maybe not anticipating it as the bullpen guys. You're maybe not as warmed up as you need to be, especially someone like Nohos, who had to come in mid-count and then had to stay in the game. So maybe the adrenaline was up for that one batter, but then you have to stay in later. So it's just hard to maintain some of that.
Carraway swings and lifts this one foul off to the right, not a play, and it's 0-1. Coming up in the bottom of this inning, we'll crack open the history books and talk about this date in Oilmen history. It was a big date. There were several very notable games in Oilmen history on this date, including normally I'm the one with the first-hand account. Normally the broadcast partner that I'm working with was usually not at the game that we talk about. But it's the opposite. On this one, we have a very notable occurrence. Leo was there and I was not on this date in Oilmen history. We'll tell you about that in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's the 0-1. Taken for a strike in the count 0-2. Any ideas, Leo?
Actually, I do know this one. I accidentally saw the story, or not accidentally, but I saw the story, realized it was this date, and I do know which one you're talking about, so I'll try to fire up the memory and see what I can remember from that game.
0-2, 2 outs. Runners at first and second, 9-4 the score. Here's a 2-strike pitch. This is taken low and outside for a ball, 1-2 on Caraway. 1-2 with 2 down. 3 runs in the bank for Joliet in this 7th inning. It's their second 3-run frame of the day. And Paymaster trying to hold it right there. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. It's inside and low for a ball. It evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You can really see Paymasters working hard up there, trying to find the third out in this inning, but maybe missing on a couple of these pitches. But with 2 strikes here, he just wants to try to get something that Caraway can help him out with and get the third out in this inning and just try to get the bats back up to dig into this deficit.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and it hits him, I believe, but he strikes out swinging, and then the inning is over. So here's the ruling here. He swung and missed. The pitch hit him, but it does not count as a drop third strike because it's a dead ball since it hit him. The ball skipped away, and the inning ends. So in bizarre fashion, the inning is over, but not before damage done. As Joliet scores 3 runs, they do it on 4 hits. And Strand 2. It's time to stretch at the OC. Generals 9, Oilmen 4 in the Northwest. Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
They've stretched out here at Oil City Stadium with the customary singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It means we've played 6.5, but the Oilmen find themselves on the wrong end of a 9-4 score. Joliet goes to the bullpen as a nice job by Sava Duport. 6 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs. They were earned. He walked only 1 and struck out 3. He came out and walked 1 and hit 1 in the first 3 batters. All 3 of the first 3 batters of the game reached against him. And the Oilmen have had this happen several times where they jump on the opposing team, maybe 3 straight reach right out of the gate, but then they have a hard time pouring it on. And through the first 3 batters, I wasn't sure Duport would last until the 7th inning of this game, but he did. And the first pitch here is ball 1, Leo. 1 ball and no strikes on Clark.
Especially with how wild Duport was looking in the first inning. He just seemed to not have the command, but he adjusted in-game and was able to go very deep into this one and exit in position for the win.
Here's a strike called. The count 1 ball, 1 strike. 9-4 Joliet as we play inning number 7. Chaz Clark leading off the 7th inning for the Oilmen. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a foul on the count 1-2. Two 3-run innings for Joliet. That's the big difference in the game. The 3-run fourth and the 3-run seventh. And that was after the Generals had single tallies in each of the first 3 innings. 2 in the first and 2 in the sixth for the Oilmen. Swing and a miss. A wave and a tip into the mitt for Clark. He's the first out of the 7th inning against Christian Jacob, the new Joliet pitcher.
And that 3-run 7th inning felt really deflating for the Oilmen as they were starting to get back into it, brought it within 2, and then Joliet really just opened it up and made this a much more lopsided game. But now the Oilmen just have to get back quick. You don't want to save it all for the 8th and the 9th inning as you're trailing 5 here.
Colin Horniman stands in. 9-4 Generals. Here's the first pitch low for a ball. A year ago today, the Oilmen visited the Minutemen, and they won by a score of 14-0. 1 ball and no strikes the count. Here's a swing and a foul out of play right side. And the Oilmen tossing a combined no-hitter that day. It was the first no-hitter in Oilmen history. Nick Mikatinik, Nolan Lorenz, and Nick Torres combined on the no-no, with Nick Mikatinik doing the bulk of the duty. The 1-1 low for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 year ago today, Nick Mikatinik and company no-hit the Minutemen, achieving the first no-hitter in Oilmen history. I was not at that game. Leo, you had the call of that one a year ago. Here's the 2-1 on the way to Horniman, swinging a ground ball to the left side, fielded by Munoz, and it's misplayed. It's an E6 all the way, allowing Horniman to reach safely, and Baker will come up next. But what do you remember about the Oilman pitching staff that day?
Well, for one of the more unique things about that was Luke Napleton was behind the plate for that one. That was his first game with the Oilmen, so he's working with pitchers he's never been with before, a manager he might not have been with before in TJ Merrick, and helps catch a combined game no-hitter, so that was a big takeaway from that. But then Nick Mikatinik, who was one of the more reliable Oilman pitchers last season, kind of got lost, with guys like Guzik and Bimby and Lolito last season, but he was just really efficient up there and just had his good stuff that game, obviously, not allowing any hits.
Here's a strike to Baker. That was a good pitching staff a year ago for the Oilmen, wasn't it?
It was. There were just so many underrated arms like that, where you're looking at Matt Lolito, who's the ace of this year's staff, and he was probably the 2 or the 3 in that rotation.
No balls and a strike on Baker. Runner goes, pitch, swinging a tap foul. 0-2 now, having to make his way back to first. It's Horniman, who reached on E6 a moment ago. That was 1 year ago today, that combined no-hitter against the MCL Minutemen. 9-4 in favor of the Generals. Here's the 0-2. This is high for a ball, and this is going to be a wild pitch. Advancing to second safely as Horniman hit off Caraway's mitt, but he was full extension above his head on the pitch, so it'll go as a wild pitch, and the runner advances to second safely.
Horniman on the base paths now has gotten to second base, really just working with what the Generals have given him. Reaches on an error, then gets there on the wild pitch, just seeing what they're giving him and trying to make them pay here. The Oilmen need whatever base runners they can get here, trailing 5.
Here's the 1-2, swinging a line drive to right, base hit to third, and getting the stop sign from Matt Vituli, with the right fielder Stellato delivering a strike to the plate. Great hold by Matt Vituli. This was an excellent throw from right, and it would have easily cut down Horniman had he tried to score.
Good call by Matt Vituli with the hold there, because sometimes when you're trailing a lot in the game, you want to get really aggressive, and you're not always thinking out there. You just see the opportunity for a run and try to capitalize on it. But that was one where Horniman most likely would have been thrown out, as a really good throw was delivered there. Gives the Oilmen a chance to fight for another at-bat, as Baker just made some good contact there, having to go all the way down to his knee and still being able to drive it out to the outfield.
Yeah, now runners at first and third, nobody out. One away, 1 out in the inning, and Kyle Radcliffe will stand in. Pitch here, taken for a strike at the count 0-1. But there were some other memorable games on this date in Oilman history. 2018, Oilmen and the Southland Vikings on a Friday night at Oil City Stadium. This game, here's a pickoff throw to first. It was one of those games that had it all. And it seems like through the years, more frequently the Friday night games at Oil City Stadium have always been compelling. And I always remember when it's a Friday night without looking. I double-checked that, and indeed it was a Friday night in 2018. A 4-3 win for the Oilmen. Good crowd on hand. The 0-1 runner goes, pitch fouled out of play. And the count 0-2 for a few years there. Fridays were the $2 Miller Lite Pint Night, so the audience was large and loud for this game between the Oilmen and the Vikings. And the Oilmen walking off with a 4-3 win over Southland. I remember saying, I was working with Sam Michael, I believe, and Dan Hardy that year. I think I was with Sam for that weekend. Here comes the 0-2. This is high for a ball, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I remember saying that the next day on the broadcast that it was one of my favorite regular season games in all the years of Oilmen, and that holds true still. It just had it all. I'll get into it here in a minute. It wasn't maybe a bizarre or compelling story like we often have. Here's a smash to center is going to be a base hit, and a run is in. Scoring on the play, Horniman. It's an unearned run as he reached on an error, and Radcliffe smokes a single into center. And the Oilmen have the line moving here with runners at first and second, only one away.
There's a good ball there by Radcliffe, sending it opposite field on a little bit of a loop, too. It curved, made it so that there was no chance Joliet was going to be able to throw Horniman out at the plate. And that's what the Oilmen need here, put runs on the board however you can get them. And now they still have potential for more with your 3-hitter up and 2 men on. This is a spot you have to try to capitalize on as you're still chasing 4.
9-5 in favor of Joliet. The 3 runs in the top of this inning look even larger now, as it would be a 1-run game otherwise. And the pitch here high and in for ball 1. But the game ended with a Chris Baker walk-off hit. Baker, of course, back for his 4th season with the Oilmen after a hiatus of 3 years. Here comes the 1-0. Swinging a ground ball to the left side, deep in the hole at short. No play for Munoz. This is a tough play deep in the hole, but he's not able to make it. Everybody's safe, and the bases are going to be full of Oilmen. What do you think there?
That was a close one as he had to go across his body, try to scoop it up. That was a tricky play. Even if he made a field at it, it might have been close at the base paths with the speed Hodges had. So he was just able to stop it and prevent it from rolling the outfield.
An infield single for
hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the Nika IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Back at Oil City Stadium, where there's a new pitcher on the mound. Caleb Deal is completing his warm-up tosses. You can close the book on Jake Paymaster. He goes 3 innings, allows 4 hits, 3 runs they were earned. He walked 4 and struck out 3. Paymaster put 2 goose eggs on the board, but all the damage against him coming, Leo, in the 7th inning.
Yeah, for Paymaster, that was one where he did some good work for the Oilmen those first 2 innings. Maybe ran out of steam a little bit in the 3rd, but still, with what the Oilmen pitching staff was dealing with today, you have to be happy with what he was able to do. And just wasn't able to finish his day as well as he started, but still gave them a good chance in this ball game.
Jack Dupuis has reached base 3 times. He has been hit by a pitch twice. He's walked, and he lined to first base his last time, 0 for 1 officially. It is 9-6 Joliet. The 3-run 7th is the difference in the game. Here's the pitch outside for a ball. Those 3 insurance runs proving larger, Leo, as the Oilmen get 2 in the bottom of the 7th.
Especially with how the Oilmen really came out firing in the bottom of the 7th inning. That just extra insurance really proved to be the difference so far and just is making it another really big uphill battle for the Oilmen.
1-0 inside for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. But we were talking about this date in Oilmen history back in 2018. Chris Baker, the walk-off single. The Oilmen scored in each of the last 3 innings. There were some big home runs in the game, as I recall. The Oilmen got back in the game and then eventually won by a 4-3 score in a real clean, well-played game against the Vikings. Here's a strike call in the count, 2-1. The Vikings tried to score a big run earlier in the game, but Chris Baker on an outfield assist cut down the runner at the plate on a close play that just made it a lot of fun. And it was a managerial chess match late in the game. Here's the 2-1, swing and a miss. The foul at the plate, and the count 2-2. But it felt like a playoff game. It was a game in early July, but Dave Letourneau for the Vikings and Adam Enright for the Oilmen were going back and forth. Corey Krolikowski bunted Hunter Thorne to second base as Thorne represented the winning run in a 3-3 tie in the bottom of the 9th. 2 balls and 2 strikes here in this game on Dupuis. Here's the 2-2 from Deal. It's taken high for a ball. We go full at 3-2. And then the next batter, so first they decide to bunt. There's a runner at second base, and the next batter was scheduled to be Pereira, I believe, but the Oilmen sent up a pinch hitter. Here's the 3-2, high and outside for ball 4. It's a walk to Dupuis, and that leads off this 8th inning. Dupuis on for the 4th time today, and there's nobody out. A leadoff base runner here in the 8th. Vertuno is due next. But the chess match began with that bunt, and then you have a pinch hitter, as Adam Enright calls for the dangerous Nate Montgomery, who tied the Oilmen home run record and the league home run record with 7 that season, was a very good offensive catcher for the Oilmen. The pitch low and in for a ball. So he comes up as a pinch hitter with a runner at second, and in that spot, Dave Letourneau, the Vikings manager, intentionally walks Montgomery, and that brings up Chris Baker, who ended up with the game-winning single to beat the Vikings by a 4-3 score. Here's the next offering, swinging a 1 bouncer, or actually a few bounces, and this hits the runner. So we have an unusual play here. Safe at first will be Vertuno. This counts as a single, though. Unusual scoring as this counts as a base hit, and then out 4 unassisted is Dupuis, and that's the first out of the inning.
Bit of a weird play there, but it benefits the Oilmen as they I guess you could say Vertuno hit into a little bit of good luck for them as it just hit one of his own teammates, takes away the lead runner. So now you got one away here, still have a chance to try to turn a double play, but at least you're able to get one out there in strange fashion.
I thought Marshall was going to come in and field it in front of the runner and field it on one bounce, but he stayed back on it. This is inside for a ball, and advancing to second safely is Biggers on a pass ball. So Vertuno advances on the pass ball. Zarnacki couldn't glove it cleanly. It was inside, and advancing 90 feet is Vertuno. But Marshall stayed back on it, and then it ended up hitting the runner in the base pass. So Dupuis is out 4 unassisted for the first out of the inning, but also being credited with a hit is Vertuno on that play.
Like maybe Marshall wanted to avoid a collision with the base runner too. If he came in, puts his head down, you lose track of where he is.
Here's a 1-0 low and in, Leo, 2-0.
So maybe figure let him pass by, then try to make sure the ball's still coming through, but then that resulted in the ball hitting the base runner there.
2 balls and no strikes on Biggers. 1 for 4 is Biggers. He singled and scored in the 4th. 9-6 in favor of Joliet. Here's the 2-0. Swinging a ground ball to the right side. This is Marshall. He fields it on a few bounces and throws to first in time for the second out of the inning. I still can't wait for the day, Leo, the no-hitter ends. Well, it was a no-hitter with 2 outs in the 9th. Ends with the runner being hit with the ball in that situation. I'm not sure if the players on the field would even know that that counts as a hit, so then they may be celebrating a no-hitter, but then that would count as a hit to break up the no-hitter and would also be the final play of the game.
That's one of the more unique end results. I wouldn't even have known that would be a thing either, that even though the game ends, that would still be called a hit. That's wild.
Here's Stote standing in. Here's the pitch on the way, taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. 4 o'clock. Happy to have you with us on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. Brandon Vickery and Leo Stadaher from Oil City Stadium. But anyway, what a game it was in 2018. And it's fun to see. You don't always get to see it in the summer. The 2 managers just playing chess. And that's what we saw on this date in the 4-3 win for the Oilmen. The 0-1 is fouled. It's 0-2.
Because especially with summer ball, you think about it's about development. It's about getting reps in. But at the end of the day, you have to remember these players, these managers, they like winning too. And it's fun to see some of these games come down to the wire and the decision-making and the way these games can be fought for like it is a playoff game. Those are the fun atmospheres that we get on occasion here.
2 outs, 2 strikes. Stote standing in. 2 for 4. Dublin drove in a run in the 4th. He scored twice. He singled and scored in the 7th. 2 outs and 2 strikes. 9-6 Generals. We don't want the lead to expand any further. The 2-strike pitch. Taken for strike 3 call. Stote is out on strikes. And the Generals are done in the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We've played 7.5. Joliet 9, the Oilmen 6 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back at Oil City Stadium, where a familiar face is on the mound for the Joliet Generals, familiar to Oilmen fans. As you just told me between innings, Leo, the Oilmen are no stranger to facing Will Janes this season.
This will be the 6th time he has pitched against the Oilmen this season. This will be his 9th pitching appearance of the season, so 2/3 of those have come against this club.
Close the book on Jacob. He goes 1 inning, 3 hits. He allowed 2 runs, but they were both unearned. He walked 1 and struck out 1. And now it will be Joe Cosenza to lead off the 8th inning. 7, 8, and 9 due up. And look out. Here is a pitch that's high or low and inside the count 1-0.
That was a close call for Cosenza at the plate. He just had to get out of the way. And the Oilmen, trailing 3 here, are trying to put up some runs in this inning. You don't want to save it all for the 9th, especially with this part of the order up. That could be dangerous. Trying to just get base runners on.
A few of the kids making some noise. Here comes the 1-0. Swinging a ground ball to the left side. This is gobbled up by Dupuis. His throw to first is in time. Well, the pitcher here, Janes, seemed to be rattled by the all the noise in the ballpark on that first pitch, but then he settled in nicely to induce a 5-3 ground ball off the bat of Cosenza, who's 0 for 4.
And that's what we've just seen so much of from Oilmen hitters is those weak ground ball contact, where it just seems like the Joliet defense, for the most part, has been able to handle those smoothly and make the plays.
Let's see, what else happened on this date in Oilmen history? How about this one? We just talked about this game the other day, 2012. The Oilmen beat the DuPage County Hounds on this date 10 years ago. Here's a strike by a score of 22-10. It was the highest run total in the history of the Oilmen. I was there witnessing all 32 runs scored that night at Benedictine University between the Oilmen and Hounds. Here's the 0-1, swing and a miss. It's hard to believe, 10 years ago today.
And oftentimes when you give up 10 runs in a ball game, you don't normally win, but when you score 22, that gives you a pretty good chance where you can handle giving up double digits in that instance.
Do not think that was the inaugural season of the Oilmen. I had no idea the record would still be standing a decade later. The 22 runs in a single game. Here's a 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Nice job by Janes as he strikes out Clark for the second out of the 8th inning.
Obviously, we saw Lake County put up 24 last week, but it's crazy that the Oilmen in 10 years haven't gotten to that plateau since.
Now it'll be Colin Horniman with 2 outs and the bases cleared. Janes a strikeout a moment ago, and quickly he's retired each of the first 2 Oilmen. The fans are chanting for Horniman. Here's a swing and a ball that's lifted in the air, center field. Taronis is under it. He makes the catch. It's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Janes and the Generals. We take it to inning number 9, 9-6 Joliet on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Ninth inning, 9-6. Joliet on Kids Day at Oil City Stadium. Many of the groups of kids have headed for the exits as they had to get back for various things with their respective groups, but a few groups have stuck around, and they were making some noise in that 8th inning. We'll see if they stick around and try to cheer on an Oilman rally, Leo, in the 9th, and it will be the top of the order due up for NWI in the bottom of this inning.
And that's a good spot for the Oilmen to be in, chasing 3. We've seen them come back a lot in the bottom of the 9th this season. Just something about this year's club that they really do seem to enjoy. Those walk-off heroics have delivered them quite a bunch here at Oil City Stadium, and so maybe they have one more in store here on Kids Day.
It would be nice as we'll have Diego Munoz leading off this 9th inning. He'll be followed by Stellato and Gould. So it's the top of both orders in this 9th. So first things first, Caleb Deal, who put up a 0 in the 8th inning, will try to work a scoreless 9th.
And he's trying to face Munoz here, who's been on base 5 times this afternoon. Just really been a tough out for the Oilmen to get.
This is low and outside for a ball, 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. General first base coach gets in position, as does Joe Silva in the box at third. These two managers will manage the All-Star game coming up on July 12. This is a swing and a fly ball. Could be trouble. It's between 3 Oilmen, and the catch is going to be made. Nice job by the second baseman, Marshall, headed toward the outfield to make the catch for the first out of the inning.
Marshall had to cover a lot of ground to get to that one. Could have been a tricky play, especially with 3 players all collapsing in on it. That's where sometimes you see collisions, but it looked like Marshall was able to call for it and make the grab for the first out of the inning.
Now Stellato stands in. He is 1 for 5. He had an RBI single his last time. That was part of a 3-run 7th for Joliet. He was eventually cut down at the plate on that 2-run double, trying to score a 3rd run on the hit off the bat of Gould.
And that was a big out for the Oilmen to get there, trying to keep it from becoming a 10-6 game now in this situation. That could be one where we look back later in the game that could have saved it for the Oilmen.
Stellato with 1 out, and the base is clear. Here is a pitch swung on and lifted in the air. He goes the other way, but a beat on it is Hodges. He's underneath it, and he gloves the routine fly ball. Nice job by Deal. 2 up, 2 down to begin this 9th.
That's what the Oilmen have needed, just a quick inning, try to get their bats back up as fast as they can. They're going to have to top up, and Deal now just trying to get that last out. But the Generals have had some good stands here with 2 outs in innings.
Gould with 2 outs, and the base is clear. Now it's Deal towing the rubber, 9-6 in favor of the Generals. Here's the pitch on the way, taken high for a ball. The count 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Generals 9, Oilmen 6 as we play top of inning number 9. Here's the 1-0. It's taken for a strike, and the count 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, top of the 9th. Here's Deal's 1-1 pitch. Taken for strike 2 call. It's 1-2. Deal trying to work a 1-2-3 inning. Something that has eluded Oilman pitching throughout the day. Here's the set, and Deal's 1-2 pitch. Taken high and outside for a ball, 2-2.
Just what Deal's been doing this inning is what the Oilmen have also struggled to do, is just throw strikes early in counts. We always emphasize how big it is to get 2 of the first 3 in for strikes, and that's what's been working for Deal so far in this inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 9-6 Generals. We are in the 9th inning. Here's the break-even pitch. Taken for strike 3 call. Mike Clay rung him up, and the inning ends. Deal works 1-2-3 in the 9th. We've played 8.5. I know you won't go anywhere. Generals 9, Oilmen 6 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in the land of frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more, go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back for the bottom of the ninth inning. Generals 9, Oilmen 6. 9 runs, 10 hits, 1 error for Joliet. 6, 9, and 1 for the Oilmen. Oilmen are going to need to rally late, Leo, if they want to have a chance to beat Joliet today.
The Oilmen have been accustomed to that, to coming from behind here in the bottom of the ninth inning. It's up to them to try that again today, and fortunately for the Oilmen, they have probably the players you want up here, your 1, 2, 3 hitters. You're chasing 3 here. You just want to try to get all of these guys on base and bring them around as quick as you can.
9-6 the score in favor of the Generals, and it will be the top of the order, starting with Chris Baker. The other teams in the league play later on. This is a good day if you're a Northern League fan. There's a pitch high for a ball. You can crank up Leo and I through the afternoon hours, and we'll lead you pretty much right up to Kevin and Josh. They will have the Vikings and the Panthers starting at 5 o'clock over on the Panthers network. Here's the 1-0. This is swung on and lifted in the air, foul out of play, or no, it's in play, but no catch, and the count 1-1. And then that'll lead you into the Corn Dog Crew under the lights at Legacy Field tonight at 7 o'clock as the Giants take on the Corn Dogs with their dynamic broadcast duo on the call. It could be a full day of Northern League action.
I have to like the staggered starts, just basically baseball from 1 o'clock all the way to the end of the night. And hopefully some standings implications too. This is just the fun stuff now about the season as we're moving into teams jockeying for playoff position too.
Here's the 1-1 swinging a foul. In 2020, during the COVID year that started on the 4th of July, Leo, we had a lot of unusual start times in the league that year just because everything was so unusual. There was day baseball. People were able to come play during the day. So that was fun because sometimes you'd be watching a day game that started at 1 and head off to your game for the 7 o'clock start. So a lot of staggered start times that year, and you had a lot of days like today where you could just watch the league all day long. Here's the 1-2, high for a ball, and the count 2-2.
I've enjoyed it's happened a couple times at Dowling Park this season where we might have a 1 o'clock game, then there's a 5 o'clock game right after. So you see the other teams arriving, maybe catch a little bit of that game, and just seeing everybody at the league kind of interacting at the same ballpark is kind of fun. Some of those in-league doubleheaders.
We'll see everybody in the league interacting right here at Oil City Stadium on Tuesday. This is way high and outside, and a valiant effort by Caraway, and he might be shaken up here. Let's see. He pops back to his feet. He made a diving, lunging effort and was able to corral that one, but there was nobody on base, so it really didn't matter, but he is okay, so that's what does matter. And the count 3-2 on Baker. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swinging a foul back to the screen. It remains 3-2.
Baker here just trying to go the distance in this count, find a way to get on base and set up the rest of your team well as they're chasing, and this is who you want to try to start one of these rallies off.
3-2, 9-6 Joliet as we play bottom of inning number 9 at Oil City Stadium. Here's the payoff pitch. It's taken for strike 3 call. Mike Clare rung him up, and Baker is out number 1. That's a big first out here in this 9th inning for Janes.
That was big for Janes to get there, throwing lots of pitches there, but eventually being able to spot one on the outside edge of the zone for strike 3, setting Baker down looking, starting off on the right foot here.
Now Radcliffe with 1 out and the base is clear. Again, we'll be back with you tomorrow night. The Giants will be in town. The Oilmen trying to avoid here today, dropping to 16-14 through 30 games. Here's the pitch taken high and outside. The Generals are trying to get back to 500. If they can win today, they will be 13-13. The DuPore is in line for the win, and the starters are the pitchers of record. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. The count 1-1, as Shalaski is on the hook for the loss, as he was responsible for 3 runs, and that made it 3-2 in favor of Joliet at the time of his departure, and they have led ever since. And this would be a save. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a foul. Jane's trying to nail down the save. That's the rundown here in the bottom of the 9th inning. A huge audience of young children today on Kids Day, but nearly all of them have left Oil City Stadium by this hour. Perhaps they're listening to our radio broadcast on the way home. Here's the 1-2. It's taken high for a ball, 2-2. Maybe.
It could.
2-2. The one thing about Kids Day is great crowd, but not all of the audience is really locked in to each pitch of the game. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count here on Radcliffe. I mean, not too many scorecards were being kept in the audience today. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a ground ball to the right side. Navigating the tricky bounce is Biggers. The throw to first is in time. 2 outs, nobody on. The Oilmen are down to their final hope.
For Jason Hodges here, he's reached base 3 times today. You just have to do whatever you can to get on and just try to extend this a little bit more, but it's looking dire for the Oilmen. Chasing 3 with only 1 out to spare. This is where they need some kind of late-game heroics.
Now it's Hodges just to try to extend this ball game. Z-Big is in the on-deck circle, and the Oilmen hope it gets that far. 9-6 Joliet, bottom of the 9th inning. Good to have you along on the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. Thanks for finding us at this unusual start time on a Wednesday afternoon. Swing and a miss. The count 0-1 on Hodges.
Hodges wanted all of that one, but it was just put in a good spot, and he was committed too early. He was looking to try to take this all the way to the fence.
0-1, 9-6 Joliet. 2 outs here in the last of the 9th inning. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a foul at the plate. Now it's 0-2. Please stay tuned when this ball game wraps up. Leo's going to have the post-game show for you. We understand he's going to recap all 32 runs from that game 10 years ago today.
Oh, yeah, in great detail as well.
Yes. 0-2. But no, he will recap this ball game, and he'll have all the stats. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. Swinging a fly ball, right field shallow, racing in and making a great catch is Stellato. And that's the way this one comes to a close. Stellato comes in and gloves this one. He had to go full sprint to get to it, and the ball game comes to an end. 1-2-3 go the Oilmen in the 9th, and the Generals come into Oil City Stadium on Kids Day and beat the host Oilmen by a 9-6 score as the Oilmen see their record slip to 16-14. Chicago American Giants, and I'll talk to you then. For Leo Staudaher, Brandon Vickery is saying, I hope you enjoyed, and please stay tuned, because Leo's post-game show is next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Leo Staudaher back with you here for the Northwest Indiana Oilmen post-game show, wrapping up things at just after 4 o'clock, where the Oilmen fell to the Joliet Generals by a score of 9-6. The comeback effort came just short. The Oilmen had to go to the bullpen early after Mike Shalaski exited with an elbow injury, so we saw no host throw a couple of innings, Jake Paymaster with 3 innings of work, and then Caleb Deal kept it close at the end with 2 innings of relief, but the Oilmen were unable to get back after Joliet put up really big margins. 3 runs in the 4th, 3 in the 7th. Those innings were really what kind of made it lopsided. For the Generals, it was 9 runs on 10 hits and 1 error. For the Oilmen, 6 runs on 9 hits and 1 error. Offensively, Chris Baker was back in the lineup, reached base twice on 2 hits, scored 2 runs, was a bright spot for the Oilmen. Kyle Radcliffe had an RBI and a hit, scored a run as well. We saw Kyle Zarnacki with 2 RBIs. That was big, but the Oilmen just struggling to get some production. Colin Horniman scored a run, kind of continued his heater, I should say, and the Oilmen just falling by 3. It was that 7th inning that gave Joliet the chance to come back, to stick with this one, and they did. Those extra insurance runs proved to be the difference, as the Oilmen just fell a little short on Kids Day. They're going to try to bounce back tomorrow when they face the American Giants, a team that's provided with some thrilling matchups for them in the past couple of weeks. And it'll probably be another good one tomorrow. We'll be back here at Oil City Stadium, 7:10 start. We'll have the pregame coming up at 7, and the Oilmen will look to add another win. But again, tonight, Oilmen just falling short a little bit. Cam Nohos with 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Jake Paymaster striking out 3. Caleb Deal with a pair of strikeouts. The Oilmen pitching staff will try to bounce back tomorrow. So we'll have it with you then. Until then, that's all I have for you here on the post-game show. Reminder, the Oilmen back in action tomorrow, 7 o'clock pregame. But again, your final score tonight was Joliet 9, Northwest Indiana 6. This is Leo Staudaher thanking you for listening along on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.